You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent Austen Show.
Oh, happy Halloween, everybody. Is this an NFL-produced Halloween graphic? I think it is. Let's find Trevor Lawrence. Looks like he might be down there on the bottom in a Speedo. Very good. Very good artwork by whoever does the NFL artwork. Because we have a favorite here, Jason Hamby. It's my first look at this. We got the Karate Kid up there. Who is that?
A lot of
Top
these I had
left.
a double take.
Yeah, Caleb Williams, Bear, got it. Jalen Waddle, Penguin, see it.
Penguin. How about a dolphin?
Dolphin. I thought his arms were out like a penguin,
Oh, okay.
like a green penguin. Well, but you're right. It's kind of a mix. Yeah, I guess it is a dolphin.
Anyways.
Who's right above Waddle?
Hold on.
Who was right above Waddle there? In the karate.
Yeah,
On the
I have
pumpkin.
no idea.
I don't know either. Yeah, not sure.
Hop in
Hey,
the
happy
chat.
Halloween, everybody. The chat can help us out in that. Austen Lane on his way. There's a little bit of an accident coming down 95 today, so he'll be here in just a couple of moments. Hope everybody's doing well and having a good day, and hope you have a good, happy Halloween. We'll talk a little bit about it. I got to do the favorite candy list and all the rest. And remember, we've got a big contest going on here. If you can send us your best Halloween costume, not really from today, can be from today, but also from whenever, and get in the running for a $1,000 Beards Jewelry gift certificate. So take advantage of that. It's $1,000 just by sending us a photo of a favorite Halloween costume over these next few hours and into tomorrow as well. We'll let that go a little bit, but help celebrate Halloween in style. How about $1,000 gift certificate to Beards Jewelry by just sending us a photo of a Halloween costume. Brent Martineau here, Jason Hamby back in the Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network studios on a Thursday here at BestBet St. Augustine. Tell you about all the exciting things they've got going on here at St. Augustine. Best bet. We'll do that. But I don't know if I had the best bet being the Yankees blowing a 5-0 lead in the World Series. The World Series is over sooner than, quite frankly, any of us wanted it to be. I would have loved to see another game or even two and make this a heck of a World Series. Don't necessarily mind the outcome. Didn't care either way, quite frankly. Was rooting for our buddy Travis Chapman, the first base coach of the New York Yankees, to get a ring. I thought that would have been pretty cool, but it's hard to root for the Yankees all the time. And what a disaster of an inning, how the Yankees ended up blowing that game. 5-0. They had all the momentum. They had all the momentum built from game 4 where they got the bats going, and then Judge gets going, and it's like, oh, here they come. Now you put a little doubt in that Dodgers mind. Dodgers were not pitching the ball well at all, and just a disaster of a little league inning, Hamby. You're a big baseball guy. I'm a big baseball guy. That can't happen. And I thought they were going to get away with it, which I guess at the end of the day, you usually just don't get away with it, do you?
No, you don't, and I'm glad they didn't, because if we're gonna continue the World Series and you're gonna be fighting for a World Championship, you need to play like a World Championship team, and that was about the opposite of a World Championship team. That was as bad as a Major League Baseball team's defense can play in a single inning, because you had both physical and mental errors. Obviously, Garrett Cole not getting over. I know technically there's some first basemen who say, Rizzo could have charged that ball. Well, where did that ball hit on Bet's bat? The last centimeter, and that had some crazy spin on it. You probably could have seen it off the bat and know that you got to get over there. So I'm glad the Dodgers didn't let them get away with it, because they played lights out on defense. They did all the little things right, and they deserve a championship.
Yeah, they definitely play. They just played a better brand of baseball, right? They did. I think Smoltz really identified that. All the little base running things. And even in the one inning where they took the lead, the sacrifice flies, just to move up from second to third. I'm not saying everybody wouldn't have done it, but they do it. They do every little thing. They put pressure on you. I thought they played really good ball overall, and they have earned it, but that inning will go down in infamy in New York, and Judge just totally missed the ball in center field. And then Volpe panics on a play going to third, and he just really kind of freaked out on the play and spiked it. And then there's so much in the play. It's almost like I feel like now the Yankees have their own Billy Buckner play, in a weird way. It was very similar. I mean, different circumstances. Red Sox were about to win the World Series, but it felt a little bit like that because it's such a routine, mundane play. So much so that I think that's why Cole didn't go over and get it. Now, I kind of agree with the first baseman theory that I think Rizzo could have done more with that. I think he did sit back. If you take a snapshot of where that ball's being fielded and even where Mookie Betts is, like, he could have maybe got there if he just has a little urgency about him. But the bottom line is, I mean, you're taught back in spring training, you go cover the bag. You're a pitcher. I mean, pitchers got to get over there to first base, and Cole didn't do anything of the sort. There's no doubt he misjudged how hard that ball was hit. He thought that ball was hit a little bit harder, and then you could see the English on that thing too, it was kind of a gutsy performance in one way for Garrett Cole. But also, obviously, a lot of disappointment as well for the Yankees because they weren't the better team, like you said. I think the Dodgers overall were the better team. I think that even if that series goes back to L.A., I think the Dodgers are winning probably Game 6, but they're going to get it done somehow because they were better.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, obviously, both bullpens were absolutely, especially the Dodgers, were absolutely, ran through. They had nobody. And they probably would have gone to Yamamoto, but he would have had to go 7-8, it feels like, because they every single pitcher that the Dodgers had in the bullpen had thrown every game. And that's what makes the World Series so interesting, because you see every guy every time.
Multiple times.
Yeah, you saw Kopech 4 times. You saw Trinan 4 times. You saw Vesia 3 times. Like, you've seen all their leverage arms, high leverage arms, and it's just that much more of a chess match.
Yeah, and I thought, by the way, they were going to pay for that because I thought that all the balls that they were throwing, right? They were obviously trying to get these guys out in different ways, and now you're walking the park. I mean, they're walking 8-9 hitters, and I mean, you can't do that, right? I mean, you just can't do that, especially with the top of those lineups. Pretty amazing, though, the Dodgers win this World Series, and Shohei Ohtani, Austen Lane, really doesn't even do anything. He's like a non-factor in the World Series. Really, Judge was most of the time until this game.
Yeah,
Judge was a real factor in this game.
Judge kind of had a coming-out party a little bit, but no, it was really Ohtani, man. All eyes were on him and everything. Like, I wish he would have been a little healthier. I think that had something to do with it. You saw when they're throwing kind of low and away, he kind of had a hard time extending that arm and everything. That's what they were talking about. So, not necessarily the best performance, but like we said, I mean, for Freddie Freeman, this whole series has been unconscious in terms of his playing ability, man. So, like, he's really the star of the show.
Yeah, he was awesome, no doubt about it. And he was the MVP for good. That was the easiest MVP of all time. Shoot, he might have won the MVP if they lost. That's how good he was.
For real, yeah.
But, hey, the Dodgers are only going to get better. I just saw who they lose, and it's like not a lot. I mean, they have some guys, but they've got guys coming back that are injured. That you don't even know are on their roster. You forget that they're on their roster. And then Ohtani, if he is healthy, if he can get healthy, he's going to pitch too. The one good thing about the shoulder injury, it wasn't his throwing arm. So
yeah.
That's a good thing for Ohtani. Brent Martineau Austen Lane here, and Jason Hamby back in the studios. We're at BestBet St. Augustine. Happy Halloween, by the way.
Happy Halloween, man.
400 said Happy Cavity Day.
Yeah, I like it, man, for sure. We're going to be at Jack's Beach where they give out the full-size candy bars. We're going to be feasting tonight.
Hey, I like it, man. Folks here at BestBet St. Augustine, we've got some dealers, I think, all dressed up.
Cool.
That's cool. They're dressed appropriately. Let's just say that. We'll show you those guys in a little.
I mean, in a way, you almost want to dress inappropriately, kind of be a distraction a little bit, and maybe make the casino, make the place a little more money,
make the house a little bit,
a little more money. Right.
Yeah. Hamby, you a big Halloween guy or what?
No, not really. I never really have. I mean, I did it when I was a
shutting
kid,
fun down,
but I think I was done by 6th grade. Was my last go around.
We were going to say that actually, right? What is the age of?
Well, yeah, because even in like our neighborhood, I mean, even in our neighborhood, like we'll have kids, that appear to be like at least in high school. I would like freshmen maybe that stop by and like they're like dressed up, but it's not like the best effort. Like they'll be wearing some crazy glasses or something like that. I think they want some free candy, even though I'm sure their parents can buy them anything they want. But whatever the case may be, I always felt like middle school was kind of the cutoff. Like once you're in 8th grade, that's kind of your last go around. Enjoy it while you can, because once you get high school, once you get your license, you're not gonna be driving to houses and going trick or treating. Like I feel like there's better things to do at that age. So I say the cutoff is 8th grade.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable one, because there's a fun element of it when you're a little older too, right? It kind of takes on a different thing. It's the cuteness of when you're a kid and mom and dad and rolling around with the whole neighborhood or whatever it is. And then that 7th or 8th grade, 6th, 7th, 8th grade year, you kind of like, now you're after the full-size candy bars.
Of course.
And you got the pillowcase out. And it's kind of like, it becomes more of a scavenger hunt than it does the actual just fun of it all.
And then when you're in high school, put the pillowcases away, find a car, go egg some houses, flip paper some houses.
That's exactly what I did.
I'd rather see that done in my house than have a high schooler come up to me and be like, hey, give me some candy. Like, no, man, you should be toilet papering this house, not asking for candy.
Yeah, but if you're listening, a very hard thing to do now.
If you're listening,
no, don't do that, obviously.
And you want to put down the pillowcases and get the eggs, don't be an absolute idiot and do it in a gated community, because you're going to get stuck.
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
There's going to be pictures of you taken, and you're going to get roped. So,
and depending who it is, let's stick to the houses and don't egg the car, because we always use I don't know if this is actually a true thing or not, but there's always rumors that people would say if you egg a car, it chips the paint. Now I don't know if that's actually true or not, but that's what that's the big thing in our town. Yeah.
Well, the thing about it now is, good luck getting away with anything. Got
ring cameras
all
everywhere,
over the place.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So it's at your own risk.
Yeah.
Not just in a gated community, in any community, by the way. There's cameras rolling all over the place. So.
What about Ty and Kaylee? When did they stop out trick or treating?
I felt like it was right about middle school.
Middle school?
Yeah. I feel like Kaylee might have went with some of the girls, but I don't even know if they went to houses. I feel like they just walked around the neighborhood kind of with the scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that was probably sounded right. Maybe even a bit earlier than 8th grade.
Yeah.
But I don't remember exactly. Well, but they never seemed like crazy into it as well. But it was fun time, and then I think middle school's a good time for it.
No, I hear you. And but also it's kind of weird now too, because I think it starts where we are, at 6:30, which the sun's got to be going down for trick-or-treating. You can't be trick-or-treating in broad daylight, I think. I mean, I understand, super young kids who maybe have a little more of a schedule.
The early wave.
Yeah, like the newborn infants, where it's more about the parents dressing up and, dressing their toddler and something they don't even comprehend what's going on. I get that, yeah. But when we're talking, when you're in grade school, middle school, let that sun go down a little bit first, man, before we start trick-or-treating.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, drive safe, will you?
Drive safe.
Because they're all over the place, and that is the one thing you get reminded of. It's at least now with the kids gone, you can forget it's Halloween, by the way. You're going home, you're better be going 4 miles an hour through that neighborhood.
And please take one piece of candy if they're just going to leave it out there and say, the sign that says, please take one. Not saying I did it when I was young, but I'm saying, you should abide by those rules.
Actually,
we got crushed by one group last year. We passing out, me and my roommate. We're passing out in the front yard. All right, we're out. So we go restock. We put a whole new bag of nerds and all these things. One group of 6 probably come up, we're passing it out to them. Or we don't have the bowl is on the ground, which was, I guess, our mistake. So, because we didn't have control, because you got to have control in your grip strength of when the ball is extended and the ball is taken back. Right? That's very imperative.
Sure.
But we didn't do that because we were being lazy. We just said, come right up. How's it going? Whatever. These 6, with an adult who is one of their moms, empty the entire bowl. And the mom just stands by, thank you so much. And I'm like, I wanted a lecture bad. I wanted to.
Oh, dude, we had
22-year-old lecture.
I know, that's funny, man. We had, when we were in middle school, man, we had this house on King Olav's Lane, and they were never home, but they'd always put out a giant bucket of candy, and, every kid in town knew about it. So, when it was dusk and it was go time, it was like the Hunger Games to try to get over there and, raid this giant bowl, man, because, it was only going to last, 10 minutes. Because, kids be kids sometimes, right? And they're not going to just take one. They're going to take everything. And, like, yeah, so we were, like, quick sprint over that. That was the first. I mean, we had this all mapped out, Brent. This was, like, Ocean's 11 stuff. Like, we had it all mapped out in our town. And that was the first hit right there was you go to King Olave's Lane, you get the giant bucket, take maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 12, 13, 25, and then you put it in your bag, and then you start your trick-or-treating experience.
That's the first stop.
First stop.
That's how you get off to a good start on Halloween night.
The first stop, man.
You know how many times Halloween night I felt like it rained, like back home?
Sure.
It felt like it rained
Miserable.
every Halloween night.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, it was. The full-size candy bar, just put this out. I couldn't believe Weber said yesterday that he's a full-size candy bar guy. I'm like, that's the biggest upset of all time.
That is a little shocking. Yeah.
Weber. So I don't remember a lot of full-size candy bars when I was a kid.
No. Fun size, man. Mini size.
But I think now, like, it's kind of a thing, right? It's like a separator. Where are you going? Do you get a full-size candy bar? Like, we don't do full-size candy bars.
Oh, no, we don't either.
No.
Come on.
We do more like the put it out.
In this economy,
and
Brett,
grab
come
as
on.
many as you want.
Yeah, with this inflation, come on now. No, we're doing the mini, but you can take 1 or 2, depending on the costume. I give out more sometimes for sweet costumes.
Yeah. Hamby, what are you putting out there this year, by the way? You got it all set up? Are you putting anything even out, Austin?
Yeah, I mean,
or are you just going out?
We'll put something. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because we're all gonna go out together. So it'll be like so me and some friends with their kids. So we're all going out together. So I'll probably put out like a little bucket, but it's not. I mean, we're kind of like off like the main drag where all the kids go. So we don't get a lot of trick or treaters.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're putting the thing out. I think at a table and. Have at it, boys.
And you know what some cool houses do? And I'm not saying you got to do it, but like for the parents, because there's always the parents that got to go with the kids, and sometimes it can be a kind of a chore, depending how many kids are in your group. But sometimes, like other houses will hand out beers and stuff. Like they'll have like beers for the parents.
Very good. Yeah.
Now, maybe, check IDs and everything, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Especially in those cul-de-sacs. Or at least a shot of something by the time, especially like 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
We will be at Jaguars All Access tonight at String Sports Brewery. We have a Halloween edition.
Nice.
Tate Bigsby's going to join us there. So hopefully we'll bring some candy for everybody. I think we might even have a little pumpkin carving contest or something tonight. The guys were telling me.
Now, don't get them. Hey, that sounds like a liability, though.
Not for Tank. For everybody else.
Hey, man, because we need those hands. Brent. Can you imagine?
No, I don't want any part of that.
No, okay.
I don't want any part of that. But come on out to String Sports Brewery if you can. If you're not in the trick-or-treating mode or when it's all done or before it starts, I don't know. That's a tricky time. Probably right in the middle of it if you're trick-or-treating. You can also watch on Fox 30, of course. No World Series tonight, so we'll have it on Fox 30 at 7 o'clock with Tank Bigsby. Let's take a time out here from BestBet St. Augustine. When we come back, we talk a little Jags, of course. Talk a little more World Series later on. I'm kind of curious because I don't have really a good feel of this. Like, what are they just going to keep riding with Cashman and Boone in New York, or is it because this might have been their best chance to win? I'll tell you why. I think this might have been their best chance to win over even the next couple of years, the way the Yankees are built. But then also a lot of Jags talk too. We've got some Houston conversation in the chat. Houston plays the Jets tonight. Houston has a chance to go to 7-2. It's amazing that they can get to 7-2 on this season, and it doesn't even feel like they've really played great football yet, which could be dangerous for the rest of the AFC and might be lights out for the AFC South. We'll be right back from Best Bet St. Augustine.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
It's a new logo, new branding with Bold City Heating and Air. It's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bolt City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bolt City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoltCityAC.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bolt City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. BoltCityAC.com. And they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bolt City Heating and Air at BoltCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Nobody but Nimnicht. Our family has purchased 6 vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Who gives you top dollar for your trade? Nobody but Nimnicht. Save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%. You know I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer. You can schedule a test drive at NimnichtBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnicht is there for you, even on Sundays. So, who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? The answer's simple. Nobody but Nimnicht. Your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder grade materials. And there's more, and for that we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside game day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue. How is that even possible? The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts. Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, a nice little graphic from the Jacksonville Jaguars they just put out. Booval. Don't go Booval too much, because that can have a couple of different meanings.
Yeah.
Say that out loud and realize that.
Let's take
keep
it easy.
Duval.
Let's keep it easy. Yep.
Welcome back, everybody, to Best Bet St. Augustine. By the way, a bunch of big-time events coming up here at Best Bet St. Augustine, and also Best Bet Jacksonville as well. We'll tell you all about it. You can always check it out at bestbet.com. But they had such a terrific promotion, handing out $40,000 in cash in the month of October. They're extending it down here at St. Augustine in the month of November for a few weeks on Fridays and Saturdays. So coming up tomorrow and Saturday, 6 p.m. until midnight, $300 giveaway every 15 minutes. So come on out and play the table games, and you can get some free money in that respect. Of course, WPT has started up, and a big few weeks for that going on around Jacksonville, so we'll tell you more about it coming up here throughout the rest of the morning here at Best Bet St. Augustine. You can always find us right off exit 311. We'll also pop up to Best Bet Jacksonville coming up over the next few weeks as well. And don't forget about Best Bet Orange Park, too. Brent Martineau Austen Lane, and we got a comment right away. Texans are proof that with a competent front office, you can rebuild quickly. And, yeah, I think so. I think they're also a hit of, the quarterback, obviously. They got a break.
Quarterback and coach.
Yeah, very easily could have been not C.J. Stroud if Carolina goes in a different way. And then where are the Houston Texans without that piece? Mm-hmm. And DeMeco Ryans looks like obviously he's done a terrific job and knows how to get wins right now for this Houston team. It's interesting that the Texans, because they're not as dynamic as they were a year ago, right? They just don't feel that way. But now they've settled into just, hey, we're going to win football games in a variety of ways. And they put pieces together to be able to win on both ends. I think even when this offense isn't going crazy now because of injuries like Stephon Diggs, who's out for the year, Nico Collins has been in and out of the lineup, Joe Mixon's been in and out of the lineup, even the offensive line can be shaky at times, and Stroud has certainly not been as good as he was last year, I would say, through the first 8 games. But the defense, you have a defensive coach, so your defense can keep you in it. And it seems like they're in every football game, and they win a lot of the close games, something the Jags just aren't doing.
No, without a doubt. I mean, they've actually, we all thought, okay, you're going to add all these weapons on offense. You add Stephon Diggs, now you add Joe Mixon. We thought it was going to be, the highest scoring team, at least I did. Thought it was going to be the highest scoring team in the NFL. And, they've actually kind of slowed it down a little bit with Mixon when he's in the game. Like, it kind of mirrors Buffalo a little bit, but obviously they have a lot better wide receivers. Now, like you said, Nico Collins is out. Stephon Diggs out for the season, which, by the way, once again, kind of a genius play on the Texans, though, in terms of didn't really offer him a long-term thing, just gave him a 1-year rental. Well, unfortunately, he's out for the year now, so I'm curious to see how that's going to transpire. Do they bring him back? But time will tell. But they're not going to be committed to him. They don't have to be, even after that injury. So he's out. Mixon's back now. Stroud playing at an okay level, not probably what we saw last year even. But it goes to show you that the good teams, despite adversity, can find ways to win. And that's exactly what the Houston Texans are doing right now. They're not using excuses of, we have Mixon out. Oh, Nico Collins is out. Oh, Stephon. Doesn't matter. Like they just replace it, they go, and they still win.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing for me because, this is Jay, by the way, who said this comment in the chat. And, I get what he's saying. And this is a target on the front office. They built it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if the Jags have built it poorly. I think they built a pretty good roster. My look at this is, why can't they win close games? I just said to someone this morning that they were asking about the Jags, and it's I think they've lost 4 games by a combined 15 points, I think is the number this year. And, of course, they got blown out a couple times. But you take those 4 games, and then you go back to last year, and you take all the games that they could have won, possibly won, they were right in it, and they don't win, from the Cincinnati game to the Cleveland game to all the way to the Tennessee game at the end of the year. And it's really, that's the mystery. The mystery around the Jags is not are they capable of winning and competing? Yeah. They really are capable of winning and competing. I mean, with the roster that they have. In fact, the Jags adding Brian Thomas Jr., right? I mean, what Tank Bigsby's been able to do. I mean, this is the front office helped build that up, right? These guys put this thing together where even when guys go out like ETN, you've got Bigsby. Even when Ingram went out, Brenton Strange did a nice job. You've got wins in there. You can trade Cam Robinson because you have Walker Little. Your offensive line's playing. Again, you can go position by position and make this case. What I can't figure out is why they can't just get it over the finish line and win. And I come back a little bit to the defense. The defense is a bit unreliable. If they've missed on the defensive end of things so far. Now, their offense sputtered at times too. So it's so much goes back to yesterday and everything else. If this would be simple if it was something easy to blame, if it was one side to blame, if it was one coach to blame, if it was Trent Baalke to blame. I think you can point fingers in a lot of different ways, but each week it's a new problem or a new person to hold accountable so far.
So it's wild, and to me, it's frustrating to watch how the Texans have built it, because when I was training actually in Vegas, I got to talk to somebody who was with that organization for a couple years, and what transpired there, and just how much of a mess it truly was, with Jack Easterby kind of running the show, and he was a team chaplain that essentially kind of took over the operations, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Hopkins asked out. Mr. All-American boy, J.J. Watt wanted out. Like, you knew it was bad when J.J. Watt's wanting out, right? So it was an absolute mess in Houston. And, like, when you see that happen, you think, okay, well, that's going to be, they're going to be in the dump for a while, just because it's going to take some time to overcome it. Well, what happens? You bring in a new coach in DeMeco Ryans, you draft a guy in C.J. Stroud, and almost overnight, they turn it around. And that's a frustrating thing, because, if you want to compare it to the Jaguars, who have had some of their own bad optics in itself, it seems like they just can't get over the hump. It seems like they just can't get out of the cellar. It's always something else. It's always this, it's always that. The Texans literally overnight, with the coaching hire and the quarterback, exceeded expectations, won a division, and now no one's talking about them and Jack Easterby anymore, of how bad it used to be. So it goes to show you just how fast that you can turn it around. But it's frustrating from my vantage point, because, well, I'm watching here in Jacksonville, where it's been a roller coaster and more down than up.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's Caserio and Ryans being on the same page, or is that just better than the Jags are on the same page with their guys? I don't know what that. Again, I can sit here and give you a bunch of different ones that it could be, or the whys that it could be. I'm just really struggling this year. That's why I call this now. Everybody I talk to, I say, this is the most frustrating or different year that I've ever covered the Jags. So this is unique. We haven't gone through this before. 2018, you were off to a good start, 3-1. That was unique in itself. It looked like everything was good, and then it just went downhill. Went downhill for a myriad of reasons, though. Blake Bortles didn't turn out to be what the Jags hoped he would be when they signed him, and also the injuries were crazy. The Jags have some injuries, but they haven't been crazy. They haven't been decimating. This team is, on many levels, one of the more talented teams that we've seen in Jacksonville. And they just can't win games. They've come out flat. They let an ETN fumble really change the Miami game. They've gotten blasted. They've come back like the Green Bay game when it looked like they were down, and they battled back. They did it against the Patriots to dominate a game after down 10-0. I mean, it's just this myriad of things that it's just not the same all the time. Now, there were some underbelly things like third down conversions or slow starts or things like that, but it's just, I go back and forth on this. And I think this is going to be a very difficult deal for Shad and the Jags in general to be like, all right, if we can't figure it out, do you just rip it up? Yeah. Or is it going to be hard this time to just blame one guy? Shad has done that in the past, whether it's Gus Bradley, okay, fire Gus Bradley, keep everybody else, or, make this move, keep everybody else. I don't know if that's the case, because I don't know who to blame right now. I mean, I do fall. Right now we're in season, so I feel like more's on Doug, because Doug's supposed to win football games, right?
Of course, because if you look at how the league is shaking out right now, you have a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, who aren't really playing at that high level. But when you have a great coach and you have a great quarterback, like, you can overcome a lot of things. And that great quarterback in Patrick Mahomes isn't really even playing that well right now. I mean, you can kind of compare it to Patrick Mahomes. To Trevor Lawrence. Look at the numbers, and they're comparable right now, right? And one's an MVP and one's Trevor Lawrence. But I think when you have a great coach and you have a great quarterback, you can overcome the adversity, you can overcome injuries, you can overcome whatever you want. And I think it's a prime example in Houston right now with DeMeco Ryans and C.J. Stroud. I think it's a pretty good example in Kansas City and other teams that are having some success right now. And in Jacksonville, it's almost like they find ways to lose. So, yeah, I mean, I know we want to say that, the players play, the coaches coach, but I think in totality, it does come down to coaching, because the coaching can overcome some of the problems. The coaching can overcome some of the injuries.
Yeah, and I think maybe there's like this disconnect. I think a lot of people want to say there's like a beef with everybody, right? First it was Balky and Peterson, and now it's like the Peterson-Trevor thing, which I just, again, don't really think it exists. But and I don't even think the Peterson-Balky thing is that big of a deal. Like, sure, I think fingers start to point, no doubt. I think you start to ruffle feathers when you do this, when this season goes the way it's going, no doubt. But I actually don't think it's as bad as it could be, or at least a lot of people think it is. But maybe that little lack of trust, full trust in each other, right, is just the difference between getting over the hump. Because I think if you ask Trent Baalke, he would sit here and be like, well, he's probably telling his wife every night, look at this roster. I mean, look, we're fine. Look, we're right there. We're right there every game. Why are we not winning this game? And then Doug's going home and being like, why can't we make 2-3 more plays? Like, what the heck? What's Ryan Nielsen doing? Like, everybody's just going to be able to tell their own story and point the finger. Well, that's what happens.
Well,
and they can make a case for themselves. And I also don't think they're like blatantly pointing the finger. I don't think they're just like
I would hope not
doing it,
because there needs to be some accountability.
Yeah, and I think there is in there. I think that's why they've been able to keep this thing together. They're still battling and playing and all the things that you hear.
Sure.
I just think there's underbelly too of like, how can you not walk down the hall and be like a little, I don't know, wide-eyed for Ryan Nielsen as he's walking down the hall. Like, I mean, what the heck, man? 19 explosive plays in the fourth quarter, or you guys can't come up with a play? I mean, we gave you the lead, and Nielsen earlier in the year could have been like, hey, guys, can you get to 20 points? Well, how can some of that not happen?
And if I'm Nielsen early in the game, I'm going to say, like, well, we stopped them right away for a couple of times. You guys couldn't, have our back. So, it goes hand in hand. But what I really hope, and I don't know if it's the case or not. Like, I get it. When you start losing like you're losing, when you have a team that had expectations of going to the playoffs, you're going to start pointing fingers. You're going to start going, okay, well, this isn't my fault. This is their fault. And that's fine. That's how I think any losing locker room with a losing atmosphere is going to act. But at some point, there has to be some kind of accountability to take it upon yourself and say, okay, this falls on me as well, and I need to do better. I need to do things a certain way because what we're doing right now is not working.
Yeah, and it isn't working in terms of wins right now. Trevor Lawrence had an interesting soundbite, I thought, just asked about the mess they're in, and obviously all the different storylines that come out. And you do wonder, these guys hear it, right? We've said that in the past. They try to block it out. They get it when you're losing. I think they understand the way the league works. When you lose, you're going to get a lot of noise, more noise. And they've leveled this out, at least to the point where they can block some of it out. But Trevor talking about the Sundays into Mondays, essentially, and how emotional they all can be from the outside noise to inside as well.
Nothing surprises me anymore with this league and different things you hear or people say, and just try to block all of it out, because a lot of it is, if something happens, it's how you respond to it, and then you move forward. But there's no point in speculating on stuff like that. I mean, people just say crazy stuff, honestly, and part of y'all's job is not to say crazy stuff, but to report rumors or whatever, and a lot of this stuff, in my opinion, has no weight, and it's like I know we're 2-6 and we're struggling and not making any excuses for it, but it's like every week you lose, the sky's falling on Monday. And it's like you have to remind yourself just to take a deep breath, relax, and how do we put together a plan to go win this week? Like, I feel like you can't put yourself in panic mode of freaking out, of trying to get this thing back on track. Like, you just gotta put together another good week and go to work. There's really no other answer. There's not if there was one answer that I could give you, we would have already done it. So we just got to go have a great week of prep and go play well and execute on Sunday and make a couple more plays than the Eagles and find a way to win the game.
Yeah, it's an interesting soundbite for me because I think, again, it gives you a perspective of, Trevor's now been through this a lot in the last few years, unfortunately, from Urban to everything else. It's a little bit of a perspective on how he processes it. And he also, I think, admits, like, he sees it. He knows it, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just like, what are they talking about? Yeah. And I've told you before, I've had this conversation a little bit with Trevor, like, hey, it could be the interception. Like, we still have no idea whose fault it was on the interception.
Sure.
Right? Was it Brian Thomas Jr.? Was it Christian Kirk? Was it Trevor Lawrence? I think those are the three guys that it could have been. And there's a really good chance it was a little bit of two guys in there, right? And that's just the way the league works. And we want to be black and white, matter of fact. And it's like, okay, that's their fault.
Of course.
So that's obviously the disconnect. I was thinking of this week, but I was like, man, it would be really cool if somebody each Wednesday or Tuesday would come out and be like, here's what really happened on this play. Like, it's a league full of, like, why do you even let the storylines bubble? Because you can't stop it. But if you did that on everything, you'd never be able to stop them. I get it. But you just have to let these storylines go, whether it's, I think he's referring there to the Doug and Trevor thing. He didn't, pat him on the back enough. And now he's like, this stuff is bogus. But we don't have time to sit there and answer it.
Yeah, you don't have time to sit there and answer it. But, like, for instance, on the interception, if you just come out and say, like, the timing was a little off, we got to be better, like, okay, then you can kind of put it to bed. But when you leave things open-ended, a la Doug Peterson in the offseason talking about the offensive play calling, well, then you leave room for speculation.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm a player, if I'm a coach and I'm going in the media, my goal to try to protect my team is to leave zero speculation, is to close the chapters, close the doors, and then move on to the next thing. Because when you leave things open, those can manifest and those can start to linger a little bit. And then all of a sudden, 2-3 weeks down the line, we're still talking about it. We're still thinking about it. So once again, I mean, to each their own. But if I'm a head coach, anything that's like up for debate in terms of, okay, what happened here or whose fault this was, I address it. And I hold people accountable, because that way everything gets cleared up. If you're the media, you have no grounds to go, okay, well, this is his fault. Well, was it really your fault? Like, no, just answer the questions, clear up the air, and go on to the next week.
Well, I think it's a really good point you just bring up, and we've had some conversations about this a little bit over the last couple of months. Even, is there too much gray area with the Jags? Is what you're basically saying, right? And
they're acting like the Patriots who won like 4 or 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
and you are on that level, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's an interesting point, and as that seems so like. Yeah, okay, he's still going to go play football, but I think that could be the underbelly. Mm-hmm. This is what we all said about the play calling, or not all of us, but I said about the play. It's not about Press Taylor, right? Press has done a really good job in a lot of spots. I can point to a ton of things. I was applauding him at times. Now, you're also going to rip the play caller sometimes. That's natural. Doesn't matter if that's Doug or Press. You're going to rip it, right?
Yeah.
But it's more about the undertone, that underbelly, that gray area, right? That's really where I was coming from a lot of times on this whole play calling that became a topic for the whole 2024. And we said it before the start of the season. If the season doesn't go well, this is going to be an undertone, right?
Yep.
And so to your point of just even a simple play of maybe whose fault it is or this or that. Now, I would say Doug, in his defense, when he says something about, hey, the players have to be this, it comes across like, okay, he's throwing the players under the bus, right? So there's a fine line of everything he says is under the microscope, including this week when he didn't applaud Trevor enough, and everybody's like, oh, he hates Trevor Lawrence, right?
He didn't answer the question. It wasn't about like, you were asked a question.
Yeah,
you didn't
answer it another way.
So like, we take it another way, people are going to think something. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
You answer the question, you say, Trevor Lawrence played, like that was a great drive to end the game. That's what we expect from him. But, when it comes to the first half, we got to do better with turnovers. And what was that, second half when he fumbled?
Second half.
Yeah. But when it comes to the fumbles, we got to clean that up a little bit. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Answer the question, and then also kind of made it, a little more critical of a point, saying our quarterback's got to be better.
Yeah.
It's not hard. I get after a loss, it's emotional. Okay. So, you're in your feelings a little bit. I get it. I've been there. I said a bunch of stupid things when we lost that I probably shouldn't have said, that Vito kind of called me out on. Like, I get it, man. Like, everyone does it. But at the same time, when you're the leader of a franchise, you got to take it upon yourself to do things the right way.
Yeah, and it's on you to do that. But I think also, to go back to your initial point, I think you're trying too hard at times to be so coy and not just be transparent, where it does get you in trouble. And I mean, I tweeted this just last week when we were on the show. It's like, are they being too coy about all this injury stuff? Just, what are you fooling? I mean, like, you're either going to play or you're not. The guys got out there or you're not. Like, what's the competitive advantage these days? Like, I don't see it. Everybody knows everything. Like, there's no advantage to doing it. Now, you're not going to go say Cam Robinson's on the trade block. That's not very professional. Like, you're not going to do that. I get that. You've got to be coy in some areas there, right? You might have to fib a little bit because you're not going to play your hand out. Understood. There are times that you're going to do that. But I think there have just been situations where the Jags are just trying to fool everybody a little bit, or Doug's trying to fool everybody, and it sets up that gray area. It feels less transparent. And in this town, and when it goes like this is what happens. And it goes like this. If they're 6-2 or 5-3 or 4-4, these things are not an issue.
Sure, do your thing then.
But we knew it. We called this. We said these are going to be an issue if you don't perform. And right out of the gates, they didn't perform. They had 17 points in the first half against Miami Great, and then they didn't score. And they didn't throw the ball in the second half, and ETN fumbles. And so all the questions start coming up. And then you score 13 against Cleveland, and now it's like, well, I mean, right off the rip, your offense is being questioned, and it goes all the way back to February or whenever this whole play calling thing came up. So, and they just haven't been able to stop that little snowball because they haven't won enough.
Yeah. I think it costs a lot more energy to be coy and then to have to answer for questions later down the line if your statements in the beginning didn't work out the way the media wanted them to, as opposed to just being upfront right away, putting it to bed, and then moving on.
Yeah, I think that's probably the lesson learned here. I mean, just a little more transparency would probably go a long way. And then you can follow the path. And then you know what to blame.
Yeah.
A little bit, too.
Exactly.
It's very confusing in Jacksonville. And I wonder if it's this part I don't know. I wonder if it's as confusing in the building, about where things are going wrong. But even Doug, doesn't it feel like the Jags right now are plugging a hole and then a new one pops? Like Ryan Nielsen, okay, we're going to fix this. And a new one pops. And then this week it's going to be, let's start fast. Okay, they're going to get a field goal to start the game. And then now they do something else. And now they got to plug the hole. Like you're just chasing the whole time. A little bit that's the NFL. But because of that gray area, if it's as gray internally as it feels externally, well, do you really know what to fix?
Yeah.
I think that's a fair question, not being in the building every day and being in the meeting rooms.
No,
are the players somewhat like, okay, well, are we really doing this in Ryan Nielsen's defense, or are we doing that?
No, you're essentially you're in a sinking boat with a bunch of holes, and instead of trying to plug up those holes, you're just trying to go on to the next. It's just you're not taking care of the ship. You're just gradually sinking even more and more per week.
I'll tell you one other thing that from Trevor's comment there, which again, I thought that was a very transparent comment. That's, most of the time it's very transparent with Trevor, which I think is very good. But he said something like, hey, you just got to get back to the grind, get back to work. And I get that. I get that sentiment. But because you're trying to get yourself into a non-panic mode, is there a gap there between panic and go back to work where there should be a little bit more sense of urgency?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No,
I don't know where
I absolutely know what you mean.
That falls.
There gets a point where obviously things aren't going your way, right? So it's okay. Let's not panic. Let's just relax. Let's figure out the issues. Well, how many weeks deep are we now? We're 8 weeks deep, and a lot of things haven't been figured out. So I think, and listen, I get from Trevor's sounder right there, you're the quarterback. So you can never be too high or too low.
Yeah, you got to be even keeled.
You have to be even keeled, right? As the general, as the leader of the offense, as the leader of the team, really, you have to be even keeled. So I get what he's saying there. But I think if I'm Doug Peterson, if I'm Ryan Nielsen, if I'm Press Taylor, there has to be a little more of a fire. There has to be a sense of urgency, because what we've been doing the past, 8 weeks, set aside from 2 games, or really 2.5 games, it hasn't been good enough. It hasn't been acceptable. So you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, where they say it's a definition of insanity. So yeah, if I'm Doug Peterson, if I'm Press Taylor, if I'm Ryan Nielsen, I'm definitely changing it up a little bit, because it can't be acceptable. It can't be the standard, and that has to change.
Yeah, it's a very fine line. That part is a very fine line. And because honestly, I don't want Trevor panicking. I don't want him trying to do too much.
Sure.
When he does too much, that's when things start to go bad. I want him playing the way he's talking. I want him. But you're right about the rest of the football team. What I do is I look around the league. How have people handled it so far? Well, Antonio Pierce handled the early stuff a different way. Now, it was applauded at times, but did it work? And the answer is no, it really didn't. Woody Johnson handled it differently in the Jets. Fired the coach. Did it work? No, it didn't. But then there's the Jags way, and it's like, okay, just kind of waiting it out, just kind of staying on course. I get it. I get the sentiment. You keep everybody together, but I can't say it's working. It's not working. They're 2-6. They're not throwing anything. I guess that's good. There's no drama. I guess that's good. But you're still not winning. And so I don't know where that line is. It's a very tight rope for the Jags to find more urgency and stay calm and just let what they've put in work for them. And then go to Philadelphia and be like, listen, man, we don't win a game. The season's done. Somebody going to say that? We don't win a game, the season's over.
Yep.
We're all saying it.
Yeah.
They're saying that we still got 10 games. We've come back from worse. No. Well, 9 games now.
Yeah.
You're not coming back. You're not coming back. This is a win now situation. And so I'm not sure if Doug's saying that. I don't know if they press it a little bit more without getting all the way to panic mode, but that's a fine line, and the Jags need to find it certainly in a hurry. We'll have more from the Jags locker room. Caught up with Evan Ingram and also Parker Washington is going to get an increased role. You'll hear from them and more Jags talk, but also more around the NFL, including we got the Jets and the Texans tonight, and more from here at BestBet St. Augustine. These are the old dates of October, but this is the idea, the clockwork cash out that's going to extend into November with $300 cash giveaway every 15 minutes. So tomorrow night and Saturday night, next couple of weeks here in November as well. And right here at BestBet St. Augustine, be a part of it. Come on down and also enjoy some football and food and drink at Ace's Sports Bar and Grill right here off exit 311 off 95. BestBet St. Augustine.
Welcome to Everbank Stadium. We call the stadium the bank. Here inside the Jaguars locker room, this is called the Vault. The Vault is a special place on game days. You can feel the energy and excitement as the Jaguars get ready to take the field. And Everbank has made a way for Jaguars fans to be a part of the action. Each home game, Everbank will select a winner and a guest to be a part of the Shadows. Be there up close and personal when the Jaguars leave the Vault to take the field. Not only that, the Vault Lounge provides a VIP pregame tailgate experience. High-end food, beverages, music, and more. Want a chance to be part of a VIP experience at a Jaguars game? Enter today at everbank.com/shadows, and you could find yourself in the shadows with the Jaguars.
For the game day hustle and every day in between. Juggling my show, Jag Social, to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242. You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing. Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579. It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to String Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to String Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, there's a look at Everbank Stadium. We got a little Florida-Georgia game coming in town here on Saturday, and so far so good weather-wise. Looks like it's going to be pretty good. RV City already buzzing, and the annual event. Just news yesterday, of course, that next year will be another edition of this game in Jacksonville, and then it goes to Atlanta and Tampa in the following years, 2026 and 2027, and then back in Jacksonville. We hope. It's not a signed contract yet, but the expectation is back in Jacksonville in 2028 and hopefully beyond. But we did talk a little bit yesterday. It'll be interesting to see how the Jaguars are able, the city of Jacksonville is able to keep that, or will Atlanta and Tampa or Gainesville and Athens all get in the fray here and want a little bit of a piece of the pie. I do think it was pretty fascinating. If you missed a little bit yesterday's show, we were talking about this, that Atlanta and Tampa jumped in to keep it away from the home stadiums. Now you just bring in a little bit more of those cities that might want this game and pony up. And what happens if they start giving out more money? The city of Jacksonville has to even do more of that. So you can create a lot of competition here for that Florida-Georgia game on an annual basis, which could set up, in my opinion, a rotation of sorts. There's been talk about that, but the rotation of sorts was always like on Athens, Gainesville, and Jacksonville on a 3-year kind of thing. I wonder now if this brings up the possibility of Atlanta, Tampa, Jacksonville, but we'll see. The good news is this thing's not leaving Jacksonville. Does it change over time? Well, everything changes over time, but it's coming back in 28. We got it this year. We got it next year. You have to move it for the next couple of years, and then that new stadium, which I said yesterday, again, was a lot of things considered for this Florida-Georgia game and bowl game potential with TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, but also college football semifinals and national championship potential down the road. The stadium opens up a whole new window of opportunity when it comes to even college football. Brent Martineau Austen Lane back here at BestBet St. Augustine with a lot going on here at St. Augustine, but also up in Jacksonville. World Poker Tour season is underway, so got the WPT Scramble starting on this Halloween day up at Best Bet Jacksonville, so make sure you look up all the details and how you can get involved. Poker players, if you want to come down here and play the table games, a little bit of everything for everyone, go to bestbet.com. What's the word on BTJ? Where's Home Podcast says, so we don't have a word on BTJ right now.
I love one. My fantasy team's depending on it.
Yeah, he's limited in practice. Jack's had 11 guys on the injury report. He was limited in practice, so it's not like he missed practice. Okay. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're a little bit more, who knows who's going to play, like Darius Slay. We'll see if he's going to play. Jalen Carter didn't practice yesterday. I think there was another big name that didn't practice on their Wednesday, but you never know Wednesdays. We'll see a little bit more today what the injury report looks like. What about this Philadelphia Eagles team, man? This has been a team that has been one of the best in the NFL, but also disappointed. This team is no different than last year's Jags team. They collapsed down the stretch. They were 10-1, I think it was, and then totally collapsed, including the playoffs, but they had essentially already clinched the playoffs. That's why they were in it, and they couldn't win a football game. It looked like they were going to do a lot of the same things at the early part of this year. I didn't think they looked that good. They got new coordinators and everything like that. They kept Nick Sirianni. Well, now it seems like they're starting to find themselves. They're doing what we thought the Jags would be able to do. They're up to a 5-2 start now, and they're a heavy favorite against the Jags. What are they doing so well?
Yeah, I mean, depending who's playing, they have a lot of talent, obviously. They have a lot of speed. They have big play abilities with Saquon, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, a pretty good quarterback in Jalen Hurts. But to me, it's all about the trenches, right? And whether it's the offensive line or defensive line, they play a very physical brand of football, and it's really their identity, right? We talk about the tush push and everything.
Yeah.
They're really good in the trenches, man, and they're physically. There's some teams where you play them, it's like, okay, as Jack Del Rio used to tell us, it's going to be a two chin strap type of game, and I feel like when you play the Eagles, and once again, don't get bogged down with all the speed and the big playmaking ability. They're still a physical run team, and that's what they'll probably bring this Sunday. So. And it's going to be a challenge for the Jaguars defense to try to match that.
How much has Saquon Barkley changed their football team? How much has he helped them?
I mean,
just add another explosive, but also a physical. He can play physical. He's a physical specimen.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they've married that with their kind of MO, like what they want to be. Mm-hmm. If you take A.J. Brown, like he's a big dude, physical-looking dude, but explosive, right? Devontae Smith doesn't fit this as much, but what the Eagles are, they can be explosive and powerful. That's a tough combination to get, and I think Saquon fits them as well in that category.
Yeah, it's a very great combination. It's a good call with Saquon as well because, we think of him as this shifty freak athlete, but the guy can lower his shoulder too and deliver some punishment. You had a guy in DeAndre Swift last year who kind of had a career run last year. Now he's with the Bears, kind of fell off a little bit. But I think it goes to show you that, when you can elevate any position, especially the running back position of what you're trying to do, and that running back matches your identity, it's going to be great things. And obviously I think Giants fans right now are watching what the Eagles are doing, saying, like, we let him go?
Yeah.
We got to sit through Daniel Jones and we let him go? That's the conversation right now, Brent. So, yeah, and obviously, as we talk about the physicality of Saquon. Well, he's also a pretty damn good pass catcher too, as well. So if you're a linebacker or safety, who's ever going to be on Saquon, you better mind your P's and Q's, man, because that guy can burn you in an instant.
Yeah, I mean, look what Saquon Barkley's done, by the way. 766 yards. He's averaging 5.9 yards per carry. So they're picking at the right spots. 109 yards a game, man. It's crazy how that's good today's day and age, right?
Especially with how much people want to pass all the time, yeah.
Didn't we say just yesterday 85 was the over-under? I mean, he's averaging 109, 5 touchdowns, and then you get him in the passing game a little bit too. I thought maybe they'd get him in the passing game a little bit more. 17 catches for 106 yards, so it hasn't been crazy with 1 touchdown, but he's dangerous in that area. He's a screenplay waiting to happen and go 68 yards. They've been banged up with A.J. Brown a little bit. Devontae Smith even has missed a game. Goddard's missed a couple of games.
But when he's in, he's a threat.
I mean, those 4, really, if you start to look at it, this offense can very much be like, in a different way, but probably as challenging as like going against the Dolphins. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, because what the quarterback presents from a physicality standpoint.
But also the ability to run, too, keep in mind. Jalen Hurts can run all day.
All day. And if they get the 3rd and short or 4th and short, it's an automatic first down. And so you have to key on him a little bit. You have to pay attention to him. And then you've just got weapons all over the place. If they're healthy, again, I mean, we'll see where some of these things are. But the Philadelphia Eagles are really good. And that offense is going to be tough to stop. We have Trayvon Walker talking about this Philadelphia Eagles offense. The Jags are going to have to play one of their best defensive games of the season to keep their offense in it.
Hey, looking ahead to this week and the running game for Philly and the way they do it with the quarterback and Saquon, what kind of challenges do they present offensively?
It's a great offense that we're going up against. Obviously, they have a lot of threats as far as quarterback, running back, and then the offensive line is playing great as well. I feel like that coach is doing a great job with filling in the pieces where they may have had some injuries or some things like that. But I feel like they're a great team as far as running the ball, and I feel like that's how they want to be as a team.
Yeah, and then the challenges of Hurts when he can pull it out and having that ability in the read option game. What, as a defensive end, what do you have to look for?
You just have to be disciplined. Everybody just has to go out there and play their assignment, execute their job on that play. If it's surfing or if it's me doing whatever it is. Just have to go out there and execute.
No room for error, right, for this team. We've said that a couple of weeks, but now we're getting to the midway point of the season where wins have to come, right?
Most definitely. I want to say we would count ourselves out. No, I'm definitely not saying that we're going to count ourselves out, but now it's just to the point, getting into the season, once you get into like the late November, December, those are the games that you really need to win, especially with the divisional opponents that we have coming up on our schedule and things of that nature. We just want to keep digging and get ourselves out of this hole. Like, we know the season isn't over until it's over.
Yeah, that's what the Jags are going to try to do. And listen, I mean, they can make that case if they go out there and upset Philly. I mean, this stretch, we thought maybe Green Bay's one you can get. Philly's probably one you can't get. It just doesn't feel like a game that the Jags match up well. I mean, is that just a feeling I have, or is that a reality?
No, I think it's kind of a reality. I mean, I think this team has been bitten a little bit in terms of running backs who are good receivers, who can run wheel routes and stuff. Linebackers have had trouble time, covering them. I think tight ends who are a little more athletic with Dallas Goedert. He's playing, right? He's back.
Well, I mean, he's either limited or missed practice on Wednesday, so we'll see.
We'll see. And then obviously when you talk about, and this is a lot of teams in the NFL now where they have not just one good wide receiver, but two great wide receivers.
Yeah.
And especially a guy who can take the top off in Devontae Smith. Yeah, it's just, it makes you a little nervous. So, and by the way, I feel like in terms of this defensive line, they've had trouble stopping mobile quarterbacks, right? Like Deshaun Watson had by far his best game probably against the Jaguars. So now you have a guy in Jalen Hurts who can definitely beat you not only with his arm, but with his legs. So you got to make sure that he's short up as well. So it's a lot of things to stop. Brent, so to answer your question, yeah, it makes you nervous.
Yeah, look at Hamby's putting out these numbers here from last week's game.
This was last time
they played.
Yeah.
What year was this, Hamby? Now, how long were we? Is that 22?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this was okay. So this is really interesting. This is what they looked like, by the way. They've changed a bit, right? Miles Sanders was the guy, had a big day.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown was still there. Goddard and Devonta Smith, but you got to remember, this was a game. This was a really throw it out the window. This was the worst weather game many of these players have ever played in. This is the story I always tell. I tell this story about Marvin Jones. He was like, I was behind him as he's going out for warm-ups, because they always go out like an hour and a half earlier before the game, and he doesn't even have uniform on, just going out for warm-ups. He's standing there at the tunnel, and it's pouring. I mean, pouring. Mm-hmm. And he's like, nah. Walks right back inside. It was one of my favorite moments.
Forget the warm up, man.
Like, I'll warm up in the locker room.
Yeah, forget that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was so good, and we were soaked that day. And I got to bail to the press box. Marcel Robinson had to go through it all. But I mean, it was hands down. It was like such a bad weather day. And I don't think that's planned in Philly. I haven't even really checked, but it was like a storm had gone up. We thought we were actually going to get hit by the hurricane or storm or whatever it was here, and it turned into like a storm that hit them worse.
Yep.
And we were up there for it. So it was a wild deal, but it was a bad weather game. So my point is, I don't even know if you can take anything out of that game. Of course, you have Saquon Barkley now. You got some different parts, but the receiving parts are real. And I mean, they didn't really have to run it. Pass it. They basically just hammered the ball. Once the Jags had a 14-0 lead in that game. Andre Sisco returned a pick six. They had a 14-0 lead, and you're like, whoa. Because remember, the Jags had come off that Chargers game. This was under Doug. They were 2-1. They'd come off the Chargers thumping, 38-10 or something. And they go to Philly, who's supposed to be really good.
Yep.
And they're up 14-0. And we're like, what the heck is going on in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
And then they just got pasted
reality
the rest of the game. Trevor fumbled, I think, 5 times.
Oof.
5 times. But, I mean, in his defense, that was one of those weather games that really you could fumble 5 times.
Yeah.
And it was bad. So that was one to forget. And the other crazy one is, now you wouldn't have played 2000. I got to believe it's 2013. Gus Bradley, I think it was his first game.
Okay.
The Jags go up there and they're up big on Philadelphia in like Gus's first game.
Okay.
Double digits. I forget the score now. I wasn't at that one, but I forget the score, and everybody's like, wow, what a start. And that was it. So, hey, if the Jazz get up to a good start in this game, Don't hold your breath. That's the point. I mean, the last couple of times they've been up there, it hasn't worked out that way, even though it felt good at the time. Hey, Ventrell Miller's been playing good ball. I want to ask you a little bit about this rotation and linebackers that we keep seeing now that Foyer's healthy and we know he's playing. But before we do that, let's hear from Ventrell Miller talking about this Eagles offense.
About this week's matchup against Saquon Barkley and the challenge. Give us a scouting report on Saquon.
Physical runner, runs hard. I'm excited for the matchup. Go out there and prove what I can do, so I'm excited.
When you a tackling plan for him with his jump cut ability and everything he brings, his shiftiness. As a linebacker, what do you have to do?
Run your feet through on contact. Get to the ball, wrap up. Make sure you're wrapping up, spin on contact. So he has it all in his bag. So coming when you hit him, make sure you tackle him.
And then Jalen Hurts too. I mean, a big lower half, the guy can run, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to be ready for the zone read, quarterback zone read. We've been working that in practice, and I feel good about the going out to the game.
In that linebacker room, how kind of interchangeable are you guys? I know we see different combinations out there, but maybe not you as much with Foyer because maybe you guys play a more similar position. How does that work with you guys when you're kind of coming up with the pairs that are going to be running out there?
Most of it is coaching, but a few guys, like I said, I'm one of the guys that probably stay the same, but mostly everybody else able to switch Mike from Wood to Sam, all that kind of stuff. I say I am too, but I just don't.
Is there some level of comfort for you in sticking with one spot and kind of trying to excel at that one before expanding the horizons?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm comfortable at Will, so it comes natural, like you say. But like I say, if I was ever needed to switch jobs, I could do that as well.
That's Ventrell Miller, obviously talking about these Philadelphia Eagles and his role. And listen, he's playing well. He's a guy that I think the style of play does match up with the way the Eagles play.
Yeah.
They call him the missile. I mean, he's going 100 miles an hour. So how did you see them play against the Packers, if you remember their linebacker spots with Foyer coming back? I don't really think we got the Foyer Ventrell on the field like we anticipated maybe seeing. But again, I think we have to get this a little bit out of our minds. Like, it's not going to be a two-linebacker system. It looks like they're going to rotate players in that spot specifically.
Yeah, and I understand when we rotate in because certain guys do things better than other guys. So, like, depending on the game flow, depending on what the offense is giving you, but at the same time, it makes sense for defensive linemen just because, like, you get gassed. Every play is essentially a car accident going against an offensive lineman, right? So you get gassed, you get fatigued, you sub in, you rotate in, and that's kind of the philosophy of, I'd probably say, 90% now of the defensive coordinators, defensive line coaches saying, I would rather have a fresh guy in than maybe a Pro Bowler who's at 70%, right? And then obviously when the game is on the line, you keep those guys out there because you trust those guys the most. Linebacker, though, it's different, and I'm not sure how many teams are really doing what the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing in terms of the rotation. Like, I do sense that there is, I played outside linebacker in Chicago, but it's not necessarily the same thing as playing the middle. You do have a sense of flow. You do have a sense of comfortability, when you're 5, 6, 7 plays in. And then all of a sudden you get pulled out, somebody else comes in, you're fresh, and it's like, I feel like you mess up the flow a little bit. So I understand, like, they're still trying to find that right combination, I think, and okay, that's fine. But I hesitate to say how much do you really want to rotate these guys. Like, I think who you have is who you have.
Yeah, and we've been a little back and forth on that. And again, I think, Hamby, you even said it the other day. I think Trayvon and Josh had 90% of the snaps.
Which is,
that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I think there's this balance between this thing has taken on a life of its own. This is where the narratives go, right? This is this whole gray area and everything else. It's like, why didn't somebody just get up on the podium today, like Ryan Nielsen, be like, guys, these guys play like 85% of the snaps. Like, that's normal.
Yeah, because is the gamesmanship once again? Like, are we trying to hold stuff back from the Eagles?
Or here's why we're doing this, right? Here's why. Why not say the why? Like, if you are doing something a little bit different. I don't have it. I think the thing has been a little bit overblown. Hamby, you've got the snap counts probably right in front of you, right? Go ahead and give us snap counts for, just remind us again, Josh and Trayvon. I think they were 90% or something.
Yeah, Josh was 87%, which is his highest clip of the season. Trayvon was 78, which was right below his high.
Oh, Trayvon was only 78. Okay, I thought it was even higher than that.
Tyler Lacey saw a lot.
Okay, and Lacey played pretty well in that game, I thought. I thought he was playing pretty good football for them. So now you said Armstead played the least amount that he's played in a while, right?
Yeah, Armstead played 33%. He only played 23 snaps in the football game, which was that was the first time he's been in the threes. He's averaging, I'd say, probably between 48 to 52% weekly.
Well, and I think it speaks volumes, too, where you have Josh Hines Allen, you have Trayvon Walker. I think both play. I mean, obviously Trayvon's playing at a very high level, Josh playing at a pretty decent level, and then there's a drop-off to who's next. And we echoed this, during the mock draft season. Will there be a plan in place for more, edge depth? Because that's essential. Like, you can't have Walker, you can't have Hines Allen playing 100% of the reps. It's not feasible. No. So you need to have depth, especially when we're talking about, okay, is it third and long? Do you want to get some kind of they call it the NASCAR package, or the Lightning package out there, and get more pass rushers on the field? And, you saw it when they took Travis Gibson, they brought him, and it's okay, I can see a role here where he'll be kind of a backup and everything. He'll work his way in. I think he had 7-sack season. So you hope to kind of get a repeat of that, and then you just kind of trade him away for nothing, and then it's like, okay, well then what's the plan? Okay, obviously Eric Armstead was the vision of playing outside, but we see how that's paying off right now. So essentially what you have is you have two pretty dang good defensive ends, two edge guys, and nothing else.
Yeah,
and by the way,
your team is being punished because of it.
Travis Gibson has played 47 snaps on the year. Looks like he's been a healthy scratch the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, which is weird too, right, for Seattle. But don't go away on those snap counts. I want to move on. But you've been saying, I think this is important to note. I mean, these are issues that were talked about way back.
Of course.
So again, this goes back to the plan. What is your plan? Your plan was wrong in some respects. Like, you have two pass rushers, as you just said, and that's it. Like, you didn't get enough of them. Now, did you draft some? Yeah, but you drafted like a 7th-round guy. Like, he wasn't going to help you this year.
Correct.
And you're moving a guy like Armstead into a spot, and now you're just playing him. Like, maybe the biggest criticism coming off this week should be the fact that you're paying Armstead what you're paying him. You're putting him where you're putting him, and now you're only playing him 33% of the time. Like, so, I mean, what are we doing here? That's like an 0 for 3. You shouldn't have paid him this much. You shouldn't be playing him where you're playing him, probably.
Yep.
And now you're not even playing him, which seems like wasted money. To the point where this team still isn't getting enough out of that position.
Is that the one thing you probably the most? I mean, I get we're shocked at a lot of things this season, right? But like, in terms of player-wise, I mean, I think maybe you put Sisco on the list as well, but I'm a little more shocked, I think, of Armstead, just because, and I was quoted saying this, like, I expected him to come and be like the Calais Campbell. Like, internal rush, I mean, essentially changing the whole thing, what we saw last year in terms of, an internal pass rush that was non-existent. And I thought he would come in and make the biggest difference ever. And we're talking about a top 10 defense, maybe a top 8 defense. And that's not the case whatsoever right now.
Yeah, that's a really, I would say, based on what we thought Armstead would be. Mm-hmm. And when we got excited, when we said, hey, what's the best move they made?
Oh, yeah,
Armstead was the move.
At a discount, too, it seemed like.
That's a good move. I love what they're getting here. And again, we all thought that they were going to play him on the defensive tackle spot. And we also knew he had to battle through some injuries. And remember, you hit the panic button a bunch of times. But a lot of that was because I think Doug really thought the second half of the year is where he would find his groove coming off the injuries that he was doing. I think he was trying to temper everybody's expectations early on. And maybe he'll start to do that now because we're halfway through. But if you're only playing 33%, he's going backwards on playing time. This actually doesn't bode well. And the other thing you run the risk of here is if you are going to play Josh 87% of the time or everything like that, then now you're going to get him tired.
I know.
Toward the end of the season or toward the end of a game or something like that. So the other area that I wanted to address is the linebacker percentages. I know you just put it up there. You can throw it up there again if you want, Hamby. But how much did Foye in his return play?
93%.
And what was the balance? Oh, so he played pretty much the whole thing. He was on there the whole time. Okay, there wasn't an acclimation process for Foye. He was back in there. Who I'm assuming like Muma wasn't out there like at all, right?
Muma did not play.
Don't remember seeing him much. Yeah. So that was the guy that obviously took the backseat. How much was Ventrell and Devin out there?
Devin 57, Ventrell 59.
All right. So they had to be out there then, I guess, at the same time, more than my eyes caught, him and Foye.
Yeah, and maybe Green Bay was running the ball a little bit, so out of the base, they get a little more. Yeah. So it makes a little sense.
Yeah. So that's an interesting split that Muma was completely out of the fold on these. And then you see the secondary, and this is where, again, the secondary and a lot of the front, like this narrative of moving all guys around, the secondary is basically the same all the time. Now, the only thing is Ronald Darby's in and out. And Darby got banged up. Doug said he's going to be good. I still wonder if they're going to go more Monteric Brown anyway, even over Darby. Don't you feel like he's playing better ball?
He is, but I agree with you there, but I still think Darby's going to get some kind of role.
And there was an interesting comment yesterday from Doug Peterson. He really said, Jarian Jones, we're keeping him there. We're not going to move him around. Like, we're keeping him at nickel. We want him there. Like, he was very adamant about that. Yeah. Like, all the things that he isn't transparent about, maybe. He was very adamant, like, hey, he's going to play.
Which means he's probably going to play, like, the two corners.
But Jarian Jones, they really like the way he's playing.
Yeah.
And so this answers the question I asked the other day. We were at the high school media day at Riverside Wild. It's like, okay, if Dewey comes back, who's coming out? Well, if Dewey plays, you basically have two options then if you're going to keep Jarian Jones on the field.
Yeah.
You're going to have Savage out, or you're going to take Cisco out. And I know the fans right now all want Cisco out.
Correct.
I just think that's easier said than done. I'm not sure they're going to take Cisco out as quickly as you want him out.
Yeah. Agreed. But at the same time, Brent, I think, and Savage just, he had a little bit of a rough game as well against the Green Bay Packers. But, I still feel like he's kind of acclimating, getting back into the groove of things a little bit, while Cisco has been, playing essentially the whole time. I don't know. I mean, that's the question. Who do you think has been a bigger disappointment this year? Eric Armstead or Cisco?
Yeah, I would still say probably Armstead.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'd still say Armstead.
Okay.
I did have high hopes. I'm a guy that predicted. It was like our bold prediction to say that Cisco would be one of the best safeties in the league this year.
Yeah.
I thought he might be Pro Bowl, All Pro level. Really go off.
We're both agreeing. Are you going to pay him? What's the plan going forward?
Because it was contract year, all that stuff. I thought he'd really play well. Yeah. He hasn't played well. I just always wonder about the secondary, Austin, if he's hasn't played as poorly as we all think, too, because we see 3, 4, 5 plays that are like, okay, what the heck?
Sure.
And that sticks out in our mind. But from a consistency, really, I don't notice that 91's on the field.
Yeah.
And I thought I would notice that Eric Armstead's on the field. And that's been disappointing. Maybe I had too high expectations for both players, but I think you can characterize as both. You lean Armstead or Cisco?
Man, I almost lean Armstead just because I think I put such high expectations on what he could do for this defense and what it would look like. So I do lean a little more Armstead because it's almost to the point now, where you said, I mean, he's not existent. We don't talk about him. If we talk about him, it's probably going to be in a negative light. So I would probably pick Armstead over Cisco. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too, at this point. But the fact that we have to say both is probably both.
Yeah.
Again, there's some good stories on the defensive side, but there are some bad stories to tell about. And those bad stories seem to be outweighing, or at least not giving this team enough consistency on the defensive side. All right, let's do this. Take a time out from BestBet St. Augustine, Brent Austen Show. Hey, we want to tell you about our partnership with the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Go visit jaxpal.org. They've got a bunch of programs for the kids in our area. You can contribute to those programs as little as $25 or up to $500. So make a donation at jaxpal.org. Different areas of our area: Monument, North Side, East Side, West Side, Palm Avenue. Get to know all the campuses on their website at jaxpal.org.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From 1954 to 2024, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. That commitment includes a partnership with the Action Sports Jax 24/7 team as the presenting sponsor of all Armada men's and women's broadcasts this summer. Action Sports Jax and Alive Credit Union, a partnership that just makes sense when it comes to covering Northeast Florida. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of our first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants.
We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter.
Right now, save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579. Baker Sports is local sports. Uniforms from Pop Warner and Little League to travel ball, high school, and college. They make you look good. They help you play good. Baker Sports has been helping families make memories that will last a lifetime with their Baker's Buckets. We've got a lot of these filled with baseballs and softballs in the garage. I've been throwing batting practice to Ty and Kaylee for years and also sit on the Baker's Bucket, catching Kaylee while she practices or pitching. Baker Sports is homegrown, and a lot of employees that used to play on local ball fields now work for Baker Sports, now helping you look good, play good, and make memories of your own. Visit Bakersport.com to see what Baker Sports can do for you. Custom apparel, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, embroidery, screen printing, and more. Baker Sports is local sports from Jacksonville to anywhere in the Southeast. Bakersport.com. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Well, there's a look at the World Series champs, the LA Dodgers. You know, it's always weird to win in the other place, I think.
Yeah.
But you win, and you don't really care where you win if your team. I think it's funny, my wife says it. She's like, well, listen, it would have been cool for Chappie to win the World Series of the Yanks, but if the Dodgers were going to win, I want them to win in their own place.
Yeah, it adds a little more of the ambiance.
It does, yeah. But they'll take that picture any day of the week. You know what's interesting about all the conversation? Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, Jason Hamby here on a Thursday. That's where we're at. We're on Thursday edition of the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Everybody said they discounted like the bubble championship, like that's when the Dodgers last won, like
big old asterisks.
Yeah, and I think you kind of feel that way, right? Like with the Lakers getting it, the LA teams were able to get it. I don't feel as much about that. Hamby, what do you think about the Dodgers? Did you put an asterisk over that when they won it?
100%. You got to play 162 games, man. You can't play 60.
Come on, Brent.
Well, yeah, but you guys are saying it like the other teams played 162 and the Dodgers only played 60.
No, it's not.
No,
Look,
I mean,
go ahead, Austin.
You don't get the full sample size, Brent. You know, you don't get the full season. A lot of things could have happened. Yeah, it's an asterisk because, especially of a game that's based on like tradition and analytics and stats. How can you say it was a fair season?
And Brent, guess who pitched? I mean, he pitched horrible last night. But the guy that won him game one, and their ace, the Dodgers ace, was Jack Flaherty that they acquired at the trade deadline. In 2020, there pretty much wasn't a trade deadline. I mean, there was, but it was not even close to the same because you're off of 60 games. Like there was no account for a lot of injuries. I mean, you play 102 less games. There's so many different factors that aren't included, and you got to go through the gauntlet, and the Dodgers didn't that year.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just don't. I don't know. I don't agree as much as everybody else as it's a different year. There's no doubt about it. But everybody played by the same rules, and you still got to win it. And I think I feel a little bit different with the Dodgers because you knew they were going to be around anyway. You know, it would be different if we got the Texas-Arizona World Series from last year, and that came out of the pandemic, the short season. That was such a goofy year to have those two teams do what they did to get to the World Series and Texas win it. If that's what we got out of the pandemic season, a shortened season, I think I would have felt, more like an asterisk. The Dodgers, you're kind of like, well, they're going to be there. Who'd they beat? Who'd the Dodgers beat that year?
Rays.
They beat the Rays. Yeah, I mean, the Rays were good at that time, too. The Rays had put together multiple seasons, so they were knocking on that door. Yeah, and again, the Lakers, I don't remember the Lakers if they were going to be good all season or not, but it felt like they were at that time. I mean, with Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
But also, I feel like the Lakers, it's the Lakers, right? So people want to hate on them regardless.
Course,
so that was kind of another reason to hate on the Lakers.
Yeah, and listen, I get that part of it. If you want to, it's certainly a something in your back pocket to spin against LeBron James or the Lakers or the Dodgers in this sense. It was just interesting how much those guys referenced it in the postgame yesterday. I thought that was interesting for the guys that were there. And now there's one other element of this, right, Hamby? The Dodgers have been disappointing. The Dodgers have, as good as they've been, they've been one of the best rosters in the league for 5-6 years. And they haven't always won. They've disappointed, even though they've been in the mix every single time. So I think that was another knock against them, that the only one they could win was the one that was very much like the Lakers, right? The only time they did win was the one where they shortened the season. So a little bit of vindication, if you will, I guess, for the Dodgers here this year against the Yankees.
Yeah, and what Dave Roberts has gone through the last couple of years is most likely what Aaron Boone is entering in a slightly different level. Dave Roberts gets there or around there, NLCS World Series, can't win it. That's probably, some Yankees fans are already calling for Boone. I don't know what he's supposed to do, go catch a fly ball in center field or tell his his ace pitcher to go cover first base. I'm not saying that I agree with every single managerial move that he made, especially Nestor going to Nestor in game one, but You got to give. I feel like this could be what the Yankees go through for the next 2, 3, 4 years, where every year it's going to be Aaron Boone on the hot seat if they don't win the World Series.
I feel like it's already been that way. Like I
they
thought
haven't even
if the
been
Yankees had
close.
won the World Series. Yeah, I mean, kudos to them for this year getting there because they hung with it. They battled through. Like everybody always wants to fire everybody. We know that. And I thought Cashman and Boone were out like multiple times in the last couple of years. And last year they had one of the worst seasons, I think, in like 30 years for the Yankees, the way it worked out because Judge got hurt and others got hurt and everything. And they still kept him. And then they got to the World Series. But here's my thought on the Yankees real quick. I think this was their best chance. I mean, keep in mind, they were a good baseball team, but they weren't like a dynamically great baseball team. Like they were not one of the best teams we've seen around. They took advantage of a very weak American League in a year that everybody was kind of just mediocre.
Sure.
And so they had a chance to come through that. I don't know if they'll have that chance again. I mean, Baltimore looks very good early in the season. They faded. They're a young team trying to build it up. Houston was awful at the beginning of the season. They got hot, but they never were really the Houston team we've seen for most of the last decade. And then you play the AL Central where everybody came out of nowhere, like the Tigers, right? Out of nowhere.
They were the hottest team in baseball for a while.
Who did they beat? They got the Royals and the Guardians. Is that who they had to beat to get to the World Series?
Yeah.
You know, so those are advantageous series for the New York Yankees, Hamby. I think they might have just had their best opportunity because, one, the league was a little bit mediocre. They were actually able to muddy through a 10 and like 30 span during the season where they were horrendous for a bit. And Judge had a historic season. Stanton is winding down. I know he just had a terrific postseason, but he's not much you can rely on. They're not going to probably keep Soto. And their rotation and everything else that they've kept together for so long, I mean, how long can you keep it together? So I think the Yankees are in trouble here in terms of getting that 28th championship. I don't think it's coming anytime soon.
And how about the quote from Soto after? I mean, he was very honest. He said, quote, "I'm really happy with the city, with the team, but at the end of the day, we'll see. We're going to look at every situation, every offer that we get. I don't know what teams want to come after me, but I'll definitely be open to listening to every single team. I don't have any closed doors yet or anything like that, so we're going to be available for all 30 teams." Like, to say that less than an hour after you just lost the World Series with the team that you've battled with for a year, yeah, he's gone. See you later. Welcome to the New York Mets.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, where does Juan Soto end up, and how big of a contract is it? I think Carl Ravitch said he thinks it's going to start with a 7, much like Shohei Ohtani.
That'd be
and
so
it could be it could be 8. He's only what? How old is Soto? 26, something like that. So I mean, a lot younger than a guy like Ohtani.
Yeah.
And
26.
That is interesting. Yeah, that's interesting to hear Soto say that because everybody asks those kind of questions after like World Series or championships, and you're always like, my gosh, how are they supposed to know, right? Right now. And so most guys will be like, yeah, they'll give them.
It's going to take a little time.
He actually answered the question, Hamby. Yeah. he answered the question, and he's like, hey, show me the love. Where's the check coming from? Come get me. 30 teams. The reality is, how many teams can really end up with them, right? I mean, the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, somebody said, although that was apparently put out, that was just like a bad rumor.
Yeah.
Can they afford him?
I was going to say.
Can you imagine if they got him?
That would be ridiculous.
Like the commissioner's office shouldn't let him.
Shut it down.
The Giants went after Judge, so they've got, they got the willingness to be able to do it. Obviously, he was with the Padres. Does a team like Baltimore spend that kind of money and fit him in their mix?
No,
Could
because
they do that?
They're about to have to go pay Gunnar and Adley. They can't.
Yeah, well, and then I don't know. I haven't heard the Red Sox link to Juan Soto at all, but they obviously have the money. So it seems like a lot of people think the Mets are going to do it. The Mets spend, I think, the second most amount of money, or maybe the first amount of money this year. And didn't make it. Had a nice run, but they didn't make it.
And still trotted out Sean Manaea and Jose Quintana as their 1 and 2.
I love when Hamby can rib the Mets a little bit.
Well, you got it, man. Anytime you have a chance to do it, you got to do it.
Hey, Ham, real quick though, just to wrap up baseball, do you think the Yankees are like going to be a contender next year? Do you think they're dangerous to win? Maybe not a contender. They're always going to be in the mix, the amount of money. But do you think they're a World Series team next year, or would you bet against it right now?
Oh, I definitely bet against it, especially with no Soto. Even with Soto, I'm still taking a couple other teams over them as far as if I had to bet on it right now. But still, look, what
aren't you reminded though, Hamby? Like when Harper left Washington is when Washington won a World Series. Yeah,
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I understand, like, you know, they're big names and everything, and like, but I feel like sometimes in baseball, like your best roster that you think that you have doesn't win it, and then when you kind of turn it over a little bit, that's when they win it. You know, like the Diamondbacks. I remember when they beat the Brewers, I was like, "There's no way this team's gonna ever do anything." Like they got lucky against the Milwaukee Brewers. What happens? They go win the whole thing. That was like what 19, 20? Or no, that's 22. That was 2
years ago.
Yeah, last year. I'm sorry. And then
they went to the World Series. They lost to Texas.
And then the Nationals was like whatever, a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was way back.
Yeah,
now. That's an interesting thing. I think what you're saying though is, are the Yankees willing to rip it up?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
are they willing to not rip it up, but are they willing to unplug some of those kind of players to get the right mix fully in? I can't say they weren't close to the right mix, though. You know, I mean, they were way better. They positioned this thing way better. They were better at their at-bats. Like, Soto helped their at-bats all the way through the lineup. Those at-bats yesterday in the first 5 innings were terrific. In the last 4 innings of the game the other night before. That's what's been missing in New York to win a World Series, in my opinion, is those kind of grinded out quality at-bats in the postseason, move runners. But look what Mookie Betts did. They won on 2 sac flies yesterday. Yeah. Because that's what you do in the postseason, right? You win. Yeah, you got to bop it, but you also got to battle it with 2 strikes and have an at-bat like Freeman did to bloop one in for 2 runs. And then you've got to also be able to hit some sac flies, move runners, all those things. I thought the Yankees got better at that. The question is, will they be able to find that piece and mix? And keep in mind, I'm not sure either one of these teams really at the end of the day had like a closer that you would like sign up for to go win a World Series, which is really odd because it's hard to win in the big leagues without like that dynamic closer. Weaver did a good job, but he had never even had a save until a month ago.
Yeah.
And then they were all beat up by the end of it for the Dodgers. So it's really an odd year overall at how everybody was constructed, who ended up in the postseason, who ended up in the World Series, and how they win. Now, I say that, and it's like, okay, the Dodgers and the Yankees being in the World Series kind of seems like you could sign up for that every single year. But I just don't think their pieces were as good. Like next year, I think the Dodgers are going to be way better. The Yankees, I have a hard time. I don't know that. That's what I guess I'm getting at, Hampy.
The only reason the Dodgers wouldn't be better is because Clayton Kershaw is back, and because of the postseason woes.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a couple Dodgers fans who are pretty glad to see him flipping the baseball to himself in the dugout in a hoodie.
He was fired up yesterday, by the way, after that thing. Is he almost done?
Yeah,
I mean, should they just name him pitching coach or what? Like, what is the... I don't even know. I feel like he doesn't even pitch anymore, so it feels like he already is just kind of the guy in the dugout.
Yeah, he's got to come back for one more year, and I think he's going to kind of make it his tour and ride off into the sunsets after next year.
Yeah, great career, obviously, for Clayton Kershaw, former Jacksonville Sun. I think he still spent some time up in this area, actually, in the offseason. Hey, Amby, let's take a time out, a little baseball talk. We'll get back to football. We'll also get to Halloween. But it's time for a draft.
Let's go.
Candy draft.
Let's go.
Let's see if Hamby can come up.
I have my scouts doing the research.
Why do I have a
doing
feeling?
their due diligence.
Why do I have a feeling like Hamby's going to go with Almond Joy somewhere in here?
Oh man,
My goodness, that would be awful.
Mounds bar or something. Gross.
Check out Donato's Pizza if you're looking for dinner tonight. You don't want to cook? Well, it's not a good night to cook. So go to Donato's Pizza, get it delivered, or go pick it up. Donatos.com, 2 locations, Jack's Beach and Mandarin. And hey, save yourself 20%. Just use the code Brent20.
Nobody but Nimnicht. Our family has purchased 6 vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Who gives you top dollar for your trade? Nobody but Nimnicht. Save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%. You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer. You can schedule a test drive at NimnichtBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnicht is there for you, even on Sundays. So, who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? The answer's simple. Nobody but Nimnicht. Your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
It's time for your Swoop Minute, and it was a playoff clinching week for the Ospreys of North Florida in both men's and women's soccer. Saturday night's 3-0 home win over Bellarmine for the men's team clinched their spot in the ASUN Championship Tournament, while the women's team clinched their spot in the ASUN Championship Tournament after a 2-0 win over Bellarmine Thursday night. The result for the women's team also increased their unbeaten streak to 8 straight matches. With a couple matches left in the regular season for both teams, the playoff tournaments will start in early November. In the pool, the UNF women's swimming team broke a school record in the 200-yard medley relay on Saturday. Katie Carlos, Victoria Torres, Kayla Daly, and Ashley Kephart posted a time of 1 minute, 44 seconds, and 4 milliseconds, beating the previous record by less than a second. And remember, you can find schedules, information, results, and more on UNFOspreys.com.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
New to town or always been in town, everyone is always looking for a good pizza place. Our place is Donato's Pizza. We love it and still do love it. When I tell my family I'm coming to Donato's, they say, wait a minute, you gotta order some for us. So this is not all for me. Let me tell you what the Martineaus get when we put an order in. Well, pepperoni pizza, we usually get more than one of these. And then there's the works, a little bit of everything. And then this is the pizza that can be polarizing for some out there. I don't know why. Hawaiian pizza, some love it, some don't. At Donato's, you're gonna love it, especially with that cinnamon sprinkled on top. Try the pizza my family likes or try your favorite. Right now, you can use the code BRENT20 and get 20% off your order. Every viewer and listener is important to us, and at Donato's Pizza, every piece is important. From fresh ingredients to the dedicated team members and you, the valued customer. Donato's Pizza, where every piece comes together for a winning combination. Jack's Beach and Mandarin locations, Donato's Pizza, every piece is important.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back here to BestBet St. Augustine. Brent Martineau, along with Austen Lane and Jason Hamby back in the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network studios. By the way, we're going to tape a couple more episodes of After the Game with Josh Baker and Baker Sports coming up today. So we'll have those out for you next couple of weeks. If you want to go back and check out Marty Lee and After the Game, it'd be a good time to do it because Marty is coaching his final game tonight at First Coast High School. It'll be our game of the week, Jackson at First Coast. We have Thursday night football and Friday night football because of Florida-Georgia week, so that's a normal thing. We'll have an 11:15 edition of the Friday Night Blitz tonight, and then we have our final 4-hour extravaganza tomorrow of the Friday Night Zone Blitz. So a lot of high school football next couple of days. Then there's a little bit of a gap week. There'll be some games next week, and then the playoffs start after that. So as we get ready to flip the calendar to November. But the calendar says right now that it is Halloween. It's October 31st.
It is, Brent.
I just remembered. I got to call my sister tomorrow. It's her birthday, November 1st. So,
nice.
Like when I say those dates out loud, I remember it.
Scorpio season, full effect.
Gosh, you know those things, huh? I would never even have guessed.
Yeah, man.
But happy Halloween to everybody. Hope you have a good day with the kids and family and a lot of fun. Hamby's not a Halloween guy. You know what's interesting about, like, I've never been a huge Halloween guy.
Oh, I love Halloween.
But
man.
and you do.
I love it.
But here's what I've done. I've gotten a little. I'll give you some advice, Hamby. I've been the oh my gosh, people, like, settle down with Halloween. Like, I've been that guy, like, really have. But what I've started to think about a little bit more, maybe just comes with age, is I appreciate how geeked up people get for it.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate the effort and the excitement around it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I never thought about, the only time I thought about dressing up was I was going to dress up as Doug Peterson tonight for Jaguars All Access if they had won.
Yeah.
They can't do that if they lose, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Doug's a pretty easy one to pull off.
Yeah.
You know, you get the Waffle House menu, you get the glasses, you get everything, and you can pull it off. So, yeah, down there.
Yeah.
So I thought about it, but I was like, yeah. But other than that, I don't really think about it too much dressing up. But, man, every show we're watching in here from all the national shows, everybody's all dressed up. What would you be if you could dress up?
I mean, I'm pretty limited, right? Because, like, with the beard and the dreads and everything, there's not a lot I can really go as. I would probably be some kind of anime character with my son, just because it's all I got, man.
Yeah.
I can't really do it a lot with
And
this.
Ronan's doing like a mixed bag tonight, right?
Yeah. So he's doing a Grim Reaper costume, which he's done this a couple years now. So maybe therapy. Taking the Grim Reaper thing, and then he's gonna have like the Purge mask. So it's gonna be an LED like a mask that you can change like what happens.
He's gonna be lit up.
So he's going to be lit up for sure. We wanted to be Deadpool. I thought we were going to go Deadpool, and then all of a sudden, last minute, kid called an audible and said, well, this mask is the coolest thing ever, so we got to go with that.
What's like the popular one? Do you know? Does anybody know like what's going on?
It's got to be Deadpool this year, I would say.
Oh, really?
Just because the movie was so big, yeah.
Okay. So that we're going to see a lot of Deadpool. I better look that up so I know if I see them out there.
There you go.
They come to the front door. So obviously, along with the costumes comes the candy.
Yes.
Now, this is the best part.
Yes.
This is the best part if you have a kid. Like, the kids all want to collect as much candy as possible.
Yeah.
But the best part of Ty and Kaylee when they would get back from Halloween is like, within 3 days, they stopped like eating the candy, believe it or not. Maybe it was a week or something. Yep. And then they had all this candy left over. So that's why I've been doing a bunch of Deadpool work this last couple of weeks. Because I eat all the damn candy.
You're prepping. So it's funny. I told my son, it's so like how we're going to do it this year is we have a bunch of family friends coming around too. So it's going to be like, 3 or 4 kids trick-or-treating together, and there's, the parents just kind of watching them and everything. But I told my son, and then one of the little girls, her name's Isla, she's like 5, I believe, or 6, and we were FaceTiming last night, and I told my son, like, hey, they just kind of came out. This is breaking news on, the ABC News or, CBS News if you're watching Brent Martineau.
Thank you very much.
But it's breaking news where I'm not going to say the candy because this is going to tie into the draft. But I said you have to give, each dad at least 10 units of this said candy because it's kind of a dad tax. And they're starting it off this year. It's kind of a Joe Biden thing. So, and my son's like, I didn't hear that. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's out there, man. Like, you don't watch the news. You don't know. And like the little girl was like, okay, I'll do it. I'm like, you're dang right you will. So I'm not going to say what candy it was because, once again, that's going to play into my candy draft, if you will, but you'll see in a second.
Well, let's go for it. Candy draft, you get 5 picks.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to miss any, so I'm kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
I've got some on the. We can't duplicate, right?
Oh, you can't duplicate. And you can't have like a variant either. You know, like if you want to go. I'm trying to think, like Starburst. Well, then, I'm going tropical Starburst. No, it has to be like, if it's the candy, it's the candy.
I got you.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So what?
I guess who
go first?
Yeah, who goes first here?
Sure idea. You go first.
Okay, I'm going first?
Yep.
Okay, and then are we doing like a snake draft? So I'll pick. Yeah, that's only fair. Okay.
I like that.
Cool. So with my first pick of the Halloween candy draft, I am definitely going with Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, put me down.
Hammy, what you got? Go on, man.
Right,
Good joy. Right off the rip. Come on.
Candy corn.
So actually, I did this last night with my roommates. It was the 3 of us, and we determined if it was going to be a snake and everything. And I honestly got rocked because I just forgot candies. So I'm trying to redeem myself today, and that's why I'm going with my number 1 overall selection is Gobstoppers.
Wow,
unbelievable. So good. Hey, listen. I have no idea.
Honestly, a candy I haven't thought of in 25 years.
Listen.
I haven't even thought about it.
I don't know if Pops is watching right now, but they had the box, the box candies, right? So me and my dad, every baseball trip, we would go buy one, and you know how it goes with the dads when the arm driving does one of those, reaching in the back seat, it was always for a handful of gobs.
They are loud.
That's interesting.
They're very loud candy. The Gobstoppers.
All right, so that's your first pick. All right, I get 2 picks right off the rip. I'm going to have some fun with this one then.
Let's go.
Because anytime I go candy, now that we can do it, we go Swedish Fish any day of the week and twice on Sunday. All right?
Man, get stuck to your teeth.
Love it. Swedish Fish, all-time favorite.
Take it.
And then I'm going to really turn this one around on you. Austin's going to love this one. But I think Halloween candy, and I think Baby Ruth.
Okay, I'm not mad at that one.
No, you're okay with that one. I thought you wouldn't like it.
I'm not mad at it. Like, it's okay. I don't think it's top tier, but it's a good one.
All right, Hammy, back
trying to
at you.
redeem yourself from your C.J. Henderson pick.
All right, I will, and I'll go cookies and cream Hershey's.
So just Hershey's,
like,
right?
Yeah, just a Hershey bar.
Yeah,
like the cookies and cream ones, guys.
I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
they got all different kinds.
Okay,
like
cookies and cream Hershey's.
But this is the one where you said if you say Hershey's, right, you can't.
Yeah. So just go Hershey bar. Yeah, so let's say Hershey bar.
But it sounds better that you said cookies and cream.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you want to put cookies and cream down for because we'll put it on Twitter then after, and we'll take votes to see who has the best one. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you guys are kind of. I was not anticipating this draft to go like that because I was mocking. I was mocking and stuff. Yeah. So I guess with my second pick, and then I have the third pick. I'm bringing it back. Okay,
too.
So go ahead and with my second round. Go ahead and give me the classic. Give me Skittles.
All right. I would have been on my list.
Yeah. And then we're gonna bring it back, and I think this is. I think it's the staple. I think it's it's a no-brainer. It's a Trevor Lawrence of chocolate bars. Give me a Snickers.
Yeah, I figured you'd go Snickers.
Give me a Snickers.
I don't mind Snickers either.
I'm liking how my team's shaping up right now. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, have y'all ever had the peanut butter Snickers? Golly.
Nope, I've never even heard of it.
I haven't had a lot of the only one that I've actually really tried a lot of the different variations, because they're now like Reese's, right?
Yeah.
They've got all the different ones.
Yeah.
And I forget which ones are like, it's like a stick.
Oh, they're
good.
Fast break.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, those are good.
That's good.
Yep.
Those are all right, good. Go ahead, Hamby. What you got?
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take the Nerds family. Anything you got in that category, I will take. Thank you.
That was on my list.
Give me the clusters.
That's pretty good.
Give me the ropes. Give me the
good.
tiny boxes. Yeah.
Dude said, "Hey, I don't want chocolate though." Oh no, I guess because you do have the Hershey bar. Never mind. Okay, so you
already
did a
taken
little combination there.
You've already taken a couple off.
Yeah.
List,
Well,
so.
I'm going big here. I'm going Milky Way, which I'd rather have instead of Snickers.
So I'm not going to lie, that was my 5th round pick because I thought no one's going to say Milky Ways. It's the most it is the Cooper Cup of candy bars.
Yeah, it's good.
Like everyone sleeps on it, but
If you give me a
it's so
Snickers
good.
right now or a Milky Way, I take the Milky Way.
No, I might go
like
Milky Way
caramel.
too. You're not wrong, Brent. You're not wrong.
So
you got another.
I just had the other one that I'm doing now. I got another one here. I'm trying to think of like my old school. I'm not going to stay away from the gummy candy like Sour Patch Kids and stuff like that now. But what I used to really go to, I think I'll just have to go M&M's here.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of like the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
First round pick. You like, yeah,
but it's a nice mix because you can go peanut. You'll get some peanut. You'll get some regular.
Yep.
And again, I'm not a huge chocolate guy. I don't mind milk chocolate. But I like the M&Ms. I like that mixture.
I'm not mad at that. Hammy?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with, man, that kind of threw a wrench in my plans there. I'm not going to lie. Shoot. All right, well, if you're skipping over them, I'm going to go, you know what? Give me an old-fashioned Kit Kat, man. Give me an old-fashioned Kit Kat. If you got a white chocolate.
That was on the tip of my tongue.
M&Ms.
That was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, you got to.
That was the next pick.
So much disappointment over the Kit Kat.
Oh man, I thought I had the best lineup ever, and then he said Kit Kat. Yeah, that was gonna be my pick.
He's more frustrated now than when the Jags took C.J. Henderson.
You know what though? I still have one of my. I know, right? I still have one in my back pocket though. We're all right. So how's this work now? I go one more or two more?
No, you got two more.
Okay,
two more. Okay. So go ahead and give me maybe the better version of a Kit Kat. Give me Twix.
Twix is good.
Give me a Twix. And then let's go ahead and cap this off here, and I'm gonna finish with the Starburst. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm happy with how
that's a good vibe.
Let's go with the Starburst.
You went with the classics.
The staples, and a little bit of fruity, a little bit of chocolatey, a little bit of caramel, however you want to say it.
Yeah, I say caramel. What do you say?
It's funny. It depends what I'm talking about. Like if it's ice cream, I'll say caramel. But if I'm talking about like a candy bar, caramel all day. a nice caramel with a nice fluffy nougat. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of those things I went out when I was in Ohio. First time like caramel. What the hell is caramel? I had never heard that.
You got to add some syllables to it.
Steph, I think, still says it. All right, Happy, what you got? Close
the
door.
This is the one that wins you the draft. You know, your 5th round Puka Nacua. And I'm taking it back to everybody's favorite when they go to like an adventure landing. You go to Dave & Buster's. You get a couple of those tickets, but you didn't win big. So you're not going to get no teddy bear. You're going for the candy, right? What are you going to get? You're going to get a couple of those fun dips. Give me the fun dip.
I'm not going to lie. Fun dip was on there, but I was thinking more from like an adult perspective. And like, do you feel good about taking a sugar stick and dipping it in sugar and then eating it? I don't. No, as a kid, I was a fiend.
I feel like Fun Dip, to me, I equate it more to like a ballpark or something like that. Or like you said, like the game room or something like that. More than Halloween.
No, Halloween, we had Fun Dip for sure when I was coming up. Dude, I was the Tony Montana of Fun Dips. Like I would just post it on the table and just licking it. Yeah, delicious.
Yeah, that's kept this in business for a long time.
For sure.
Just that one.
For sure.
All right, so I got to close this out.
Close it out.
What's the 4 that I have already?
You got Swedish Fish, Baby Ruth, Milky Way, M&M's. So you're really hitting a home run with the olds right now.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to know if I should go.
Hopefully they don't have dentures because Swedish Fish could be sticking to those teeth like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Listen, I see on this, I'm looking at a chart of all Halloween candy, and like the one I would grab out of all this that I don't have is probably hot tamales because I'm a big hot tamale fan.
Yeah.
But I already did that with Swedish Fish. So I'm going to go with another classic. And I actually like this as I got older more than when I was younger.
Okay.
Butterfinger.
Oh, nope. What's it? Hey, the all-time stick to your teeth team right now.
It is
with the Swedish Fish and then the Butterfinger.
This segment sponsored by my dentist. You're going there a lot lately.
Brent's gonna throw some toffee into the mix. I don't know, man.
That Butterfingers.
I love a Heath bar, by the way, but I just don't think Heath bar's out there in the bags very often. I love a Heath bar. That's even better.
He's not bad.
That Butterfinger that's stuck in that Lunchable, bruh. Man.
You're not wrong. I used to like Butterfingers were not on my list, and I don't like Butterfingers, but I used to always eat them because of Bart Simpson. Like, you want to talk about marketing? Like when Butterfingers were featured in The Simpsons, and I was coming up as a kid because we only got like 3 channels, so Simpsons were always on, and like Bart Simpson would be like, don't lay a finger on my Butterfinger. I'm like, okay, Bart, like I feel you, man. I'm gonna get some Butterfingers. These taste horrible. They're sticking to my teeth. Brent, you should have picked some Milk Duds too while you're at it, man.
I actually don't mind Milk Duds.
Oh,
I like anything sweet like that.
Dude.
Milk Duds. I thought the other one that I could have gone to is Whoppers.
Yeah.
You pop those things. They got the little 3-pack.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
Usually when they get
malt
the
ball,
bulk candy.
like the malt balls, Whoppers.
Whoppers are fantastic.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys.
I love all the candy.
This is fun and everything, but I think I have you beat, and it's not even close. But we'll see. We'll see what Twitter says.
Who was my without a draft? This is what I had.
Look at you. Nice,
oh, wow.
Nice job. You put that in. Gobstoppers, peanut butter, Snickers,
Skittles,
cookie and cream Hershey's, regular Skittles, and Reese peanut butter cups. This was before, right? This is what you did.
This was your old one?
That's what I made in the break about 10 minutes ago, right before we did this.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I can't believe you went Gobstoppers number 1.
I know, man.
I had to secure
let's
it.
pump the gas a little bit. Anthony Richardson,
I had to secure it.
Anthony Richardson, like, hey.
Listen, when you know you got a diamond in the rough, you reach.
It.
Okay.
He likes it.
All right. Real quick, since we're on the candy, what's the worst? I mean, is it
Dots?
I've never been the
Dots.
Almond Joy. Oh man, Dots aren't bad.
No,
Runts can kind of just
Runts
are kind of
Runts are
especially
Runts.
No, the runts are definitely not, especially the banana. Hey, if I get a banana runt,
man, runts are the one thing that I do feel like I'm cracking my teeth when I eat them.
Sure, yeah.
Some
Like
people
that,
will love
you're right
them.
on the banana.
Yep.
But if I saw Tootsie Rolls, I would just tell the person at the door, "Hey, appreciate the effort, but I'll
You're all
see you
set.
next year. Pick something else."
Tootsie Rolls are okay. They're okay.
I used to buy, like when I was in high school, my buddy, his mom would buy a bulk bag of Tootsie Rolls and Swedish Fish, and we'd have that and Coke. Coca-Cola.
No, I got you.
And we are. That's why, again, I'm at the dentist a lot lately.
So the two biggest candy corn obviously is trash. We all agree on that or not? Or no? Brent's contemplating.
I don't think it's as trash as everybody says.
It is trash.
Yeah, I don't like actively go get candy corn.
Okay,
but if it's in a jar, I'll eat it.
It's gross. Yeah. And then Peeps. I can't do Peeps.
This is a Halloween thing.
No, I mean, if we're doing Halloween, I'm saying candies in general. Peeps are still a candy.
Peeps are terrible.
Yeah. I mean, are Gobstoppers Halloween candy? I don't know.
Yeah,
you'll find
they give them in the threes.
Stuff. Okay. That's the thing. Yeah, the 3-pack things. Yeah,
I'm surprised.
They've done a good job of that.
Here are the 3 that I'm surprised that nobody took in the round of 15. Smarties.
Sweet Tarts, honestly.
I
once choked on a Sweet Tart, so then I stopped eating them.
Sweet Tarts are good.
Like the bottle caps. Yeah, Sweet Tarts.
Yep.
Bottle caps. Nobody actually took Sour Patch.
I was one too, but I stayed away from.
There was one more.
I like Sour Patch Kids.
I don't mind them.
Anyways. Oh, the trolley. The trolley.
Like the worms?
Yeah. Yeah, those were a favorite, I think.
Yeah, gummy worms?
Gummy worms?
Yeah.
See, I don't remember gummy worms at Halloween for me. But maybe now
they have like the small bags of the trolley. Sorry, that's a Wisconsin accent coming out again.
Gummy worms all day, man. Gummy bears, gummy worms, Swedish Fish, hot tamales. That's my favorite.
Man, hot tamales is an aggressive take.
I know. I love that pack of hot tamales.
Yeah, just put some mouthwash and just gurgle it around a little bit and spit it out. It's the same thing.
Help you
Gross, man.
So that's the Halloween draft. Again, if anybody likes Almond Joy, congratulations. We should give away the $1,000 gift card to Bears Jewelry if you like Almond Joy or Mounds.
I mean, I don't mind it. Like it's not on a list or anything, but I don't mind. I mean, I'll eat it.
You'll eat it.
I mean, I'll eat it. Yeah.
Gosh, that's awful.
Yeah.
Coconut stuff is terrible.
I like coconut.
Not me.
All right.
What else has coconut in it that I don't like?
A pina colada?
I think some. Well, that's a little different. I can't eat a
pina colada. Okay.
But I'd rather it be mixed with like what's like the Miami Vice one or something, where you mix it with like a strawberry daiquiri.
Sure.
Like
Yeah. Put a little umbrella in that bad boy.
Put an umbrella in that.
Come on, man.
And then I'll have it. But I think there used to be like when I was a kid, or you'd go to birthdays that have like cakes. and there's some coconut on cakes and stuff. And I'm like, ugh.
You weren't feeling that?
Ugh, gross. Gross stuff. All right, well, everybody have a good Halloween. Hey, there's some news out on Tayshaun Gibson. And let me read this because it's kind of confusing. Tayshaun Gibson is being moved from reserve suspended list to the exempt commissioner permission list today. So he's allowed to practice while on the list. The exemption expires Monday at 4 o'clock.
So does Doug have to sign his permission slip? Like, how are we doing this? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what that means.
The Tayshaun Gibson stuff is wacky, man. Like, I don't get this whole thing. I guess I got to go over the league rules a little bit better on these.
Like, did they forget about him? Like, I forgot. Like, he can come back, but we didn't announce it. Like,
he was in London. They forgot about him.
Well, I'm saying, like, the league, did they forget about him?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, but apparently, so what I read into the way I interpret this is that he's going to come off the list on Monday, eligible to play.
Whatever.
So next week against Minnesota, looks like Gibson could be back.
All I'm saying is, if this was the Chiefs, he would have been back by now.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know that.
You know, I'm kidding. Obviously, I would hope I'm kidding, but who knows?
Well, it's interesting. Like, this is a 6-game suspension that's turned into a 9-game suspension. Like, that's wild. I have to go back and look at other suspensions around the league. Have we seen anything like that? Where this is like when Jamison Williams got suspended, it was a suspension for X amount of games.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just recently, I don't feel like even Calvin Ridley, it was a year suspension. He was done. This is like a crazy carryover. 3 games is a lot.
What was the suspension again?
It was PEDs.
PEDs? Okay.
Wasn't it PEDs? Yeah, I think it was PEDs.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is a longer suspension than, say, a Cam Robinson one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we'll just go back to this one more time. It becomes, how much does Tayshaun Gibson help you? Would you be willing to revamp your whole safety lineup, Dewey, Gibson, and take out Cisco Savage? Would you do that?
I probably wouldn't do that because we're talking about 2 guys who haven't played the game of football really this year. So I wouldn't do that. I would have to, when we know how this works, I'd make them earn the reps in practice and see how that shakes out.
What do you think, Campy? Would you go all in and try to jumpstart this thing in that direction if you come off another poor outing, of course? Like, if you don't play well against the Eagles, would you be willing to do that with both of these guys and insert them in the lineup and just to try something different?
No, I still wouldn't. I think Tayshaun was always kind of a depth piece, especially with that he was signed because Dewey was out and because of how young Antonio Johnson was or still is, just in case. So I still think that he's going to be, sparingly used even when he is fully back and ready to go.
Yeah, I don't listen, I don't have high hopes for Tayshaun Gibson. I was looking at the tenure of the Jags players.
Yeah.
Because of Cam Robinson, he was the most tenured player when he got traded away, and now Logan Cook is that guy. I actually saw Logan. He's like, I might be in trouble.
That's funny.
But
you're not going anywhere.
That's what I said. I don't think you're in trouble
on this team.
But
man,
when I'm going down the list, I'm like, 13 years for Gibson. He's been in the league for 13 years. Even the sheriffs of the world in the Armsteads, that's like a 10-year guy.
Yeah.
13 years, that's a long career. But, I mean, seriously, what should we even expect out of a guy like that? 13 years in the league. What's he got left? I mean, you got to feel like you're better off with the Savages and the Deweys and the Ciscos back there from a speed standpoint alone. But kudos to him, man. He's hung around and, well, he's going to get, I don't know if you get a year of service or a half a year of service on this one, but
yeah,
he should be fresh by the time he comes back.
You would hope so, yes.
Hey, let's take a time out from BestBet St. Augustine, Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. And don't forget about the Jacksonville Icemen. They return home on November 8th and 9th, so you can check out JacksonvilleIcemen.com. They're teaming up with BestBet, by the way, as well, so check out all the different events that they have coming up. And hang out with us tonight on Jaguars All Access, 7 o'clock. At String Sports Brewery, and you can watch on Fox 30. Tank Bigsby will be our guest tonight on this Halloween evening on Jaguars All Access. It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Building off a summer of terrific action at Southern Oaks Stadium, the Jacksonville Armada are looking forward to the future and the return of pro soccer in Northeast Florida. Season ticket reservations for MLS Next Pro are underway, and for just $100, you can lock in some great benefits when it comes to supporting the boys in blue. Those who make a reservation will have first selection options in the new Armada Stadium out east, near Jacksonville's downtown sporting complex, as well as access to supporter VIP events like stadium tours, open training sessions, and future meet and greets with players and coaches. You can make your season ticket reservations at jacksonvillearmada.com/ticket, and while you're there, read the very latest on the Armada men's and women's teams in action this summer. Show your commitment to the fleet with an MLS Next Pro season ticket reservation at jacksonvillearmada.com/ticket.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield. Welcome to Everbank Stadium. We call the stadium the bank. Here inside the Jaguars locker room, this is called the Vault. The Vault is a special place on game days. You can feel the energy and excitement as the Jaguars get ready to take the field. And Everbank has made a way for Jaguars fans to be a part of the action. Each home game, Everbank will select a winner and a guest to be a part of the Shadows. Be there up close and personal when the Jaguars leave the Vault to take the field. Not only that, the Vault Lounge provides a VIP pregame tailgate experience. High-end food, beverages, music, and more. Want a chance to be part of a VIP experience at a Jaguars game? Enter today at everbank.com/shadows, and you could find yourself in the shadows with the Jaguars.
Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back to Best Bet St. Augustine. There you see that giveaway, $300 giveaway. Now, that was in the month of October, but we've got it coming back for November as well. So make sure you check out bestbet.com. And also, World Poker Tour event number 1 starting today at Best Bet Jacksonville. So up there on Monument Road, $200,000 guarantee, 6 flights. Today through November 3rd, 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. And you can also check out the final table being streamed live on Best Bet Live. Find that on Facebook as well and YouTube. So check them out. Go follow them. And also just go hit bestbet.com for all the information. The World Poker Tour events will go on from tonight all the way through, I think it's November 19th. So a lot of action going on here down in St. Augustine, up in Jacksonville as well. Free money being handed out along the way. And if you can't buy into some of those tournaments, as Tyler told us last week when we were here, you can win your way into a lot of those tournaments too. So I know Hamby likes to play that poker. He might have to win himself in. He's got an itch to go play.
Yes,
this is a good time to go play, Hamby. You got to get out there.
I know. I'll get out there soon enough.
All right. Hey, we got a couple of other. Austin's draft is A++, says Logan.
Let's go, Logan.
On the candy. Crackle, as Daniel Kilkenny says. He says, I haven't seen them in forever, but whatchamacallit. Now, whatchamacallit was really good.
That's a blast of a pass right
yeah,
there.
really good.
Do they still make them?
I think
those are
they do.
good.
I think I've seen them. Chico Stick, I don't know if I remember that as much as
don't remember that one.
But whatchamacallit was
Whatchamacallit's
really
went hard.
underrated one.
Yeah, because it was like a wafer kind of. It was like a wafer chocolate. I think there might have been some caramel.
It might have been like a peanut butter or something instead.
That's what it was, peanut butter, yeah.
But yeah, kind of that's a good one.
What a pull. Yeah.
It's a good pull.
Bring
That's
them
an old
back.
school one. I don't know. I've never seen those in like the small pack. I don't think. Now maybe they do have them, but I don't feel like I've seen those in the small packs. Hey, we got a couple of comments also on Twitter. I don't know if showing up on YouTube or our chat, and I just missed them. So let's get to a couple of those. And Sway Me Smooth, nice handle. Tells us a problem with the leadership group that's in place. Either the coaches are not prepared or bringing out the best in players, or the GM brought in the wrong players. Either way, it's on leadership. This was in a response to the thing that's so frustrating about the Jags. There's not one person to blame. It changes every week. And I think Sway Me Smooth just kind of answered my question. Like, he just pointed to 3 different things. Like, which is it? They've got to figure out from a business standpoint or from a winning standpoint, the Jags, this is, what one is it? Like, where's the problem? Like, where's the issue? And are there as many problems as we all like to say? We're reaching and digging and trying to find as well. Why is this thing not better than 2-6? They're trying to do the same thing, but it doesn't also seem that far off. That's the catchy part of what's going on here in Jacksonville. He also says, unless this group has the ability to bring a championship to Duval, we're simply wasting time with sticking with them, because ultimately a championship is all that matters. Well, that goes on that's a lot of sentiment, right? Rip it up, sort of. This isn't the one that's going to get you it. Hey, this isn't the one that's going to get you a championship, get it out, and we'll find the next one that does, even if it does mean going backwards and you miss. But you got to try to hit the home run. So that will be an interesting topic for the next, I think, couple of months in Jacksonville, unless the Jags somehow save this season in a big-time way, miraculously. Scott says, if ETN doesn't fumble on the goal line, we beat the Dolphins by 10, 14 points. How different is the whole season? It's hard to predict, but I do think it's different. I can just tell you singularly, it's different by 1 win, right? It's 3-5 now instead of 2-6. And 3-5 is a different spot than 2-6, the way the AFC is. I also believe they find a way. They probably beat Cleveland the next week, too.
You think so, just because of the win in Miami?
I feel like their offense probably, because now your offense went out and put maybe 27 points on the board or something,
a little better.
So you're buying into something instead of like, ooh, like that. There's no doubt that game shocked them, because they went 17 points out of the gates. They looked so good. Their defense played so good, and they still lost the football game. And the way that shocked them was like, fumble, 80 yards, lose.
Yeah, it's funny because I think about that, how it all transpired. And, the next couple of weeks was, I don't really have any answers of what's going on. But you feel like if they would have won that Dolphins game, and maybe they end up winning the Browns game, like maybe when the Bills game happens and you get kind of embarrassed on national television, they go, oh, well, we have to change this. This has to be better. It's not acceptable, But it's almost like it snowballed itself onto, we don't know what's going on. We have to look at ourselves in the mirror, and there was really never any answer. So, yeah, it seems a little exaggerated to say, but I do feel like if they would have won that Dolphins game, the entire season could be different.
Yeah, and I don't know how different, but I do feel like it's different. Here's the thing. Think about this for the Jaguars. They've lost 2 games at the Horn on kicks. The Miami game and now this game, the Packers. I mean, just that, right? If you're just able to reverse those 2 outcomes, forget about the Cleveland game for a minute. Now you're sitting here at 4-4, and we're talking about a totally different team and situation, and we're excited about it and what could happen. And now you go up with a fighting chance against Philly. All these things, and that's how close the Jags are, but it feels so far away, and that's safe enough to say. Here's the other thing I've been talking about a lot this week. The Jags have more things going on than we're allowed to talk about, it feels like, right? And Evan Ingram's one of those things. We had a chance to catch up with Evan, and a lot of the conversation was about that play in the end zone. See, that's what is frustrating. That's a play that you're asking this team to make.
Yep.
Right? Go make a winning football play. Man, did he ever make a winning? That was an incredible play, wasn't it?
It's beautiful. I mean, if they win that game, it's almost like that gets put in like office buildings. It's just like it's
a great way to say it.
It's an iconic shot, but unfortunately, the dude Malik Willis leads them down there, and they kick a field goal. And that's that. And it's almost an afterthought at this point, but obviously it's something that we should keep on talking about because it was such a great play from Trevor and Evan Ingram.
Well, and we had a chance to catch up with Evan Ingram in the locker room, just ask him a little bit more about it. And again, it feels weird all the time, like asking about good things when you're 2-6. But the bottom line is that was a huge play. He continues to play really good football for this team. Here's Evan Ingram in the locker room on Wednesday.
How many comments have you had from folks about the catch?
It made his rounds for sure. I was just glad my family was all my family was here. It was their first game really seeing me play this year, so obviously wish that moment lasted a little bit longer, but yeah, looking forward to keep making those.
Yeah, you guys, do you go back and look at a play like that and you kind of wowed by it even individually?
Yeah, it's a reminder of what I'm capable of for sure. It's I envision making plays like that all the time. I think what you see in your mind is there's some things that can come to fruition through that. So when that stuff happens, I go back and I probably watched it 100 times, probably more than 100 times, honestly. I definitely love moments like that, love stepping up in moments like that, and it was probably one of the best plays of my career. So definitely was sad in that for a little bit, but like I said, I'm trying to make more. That's the goal now.
What stands out to you about the play? Like, what did you like most about it?
I love how Trevor sat in there and just threw it. Like I love watching his drop. I love watching how I know he saw the release at the line of scrimmage. The guys blocked their ass off. Park did his job widening that corner just enough to make it a perfect jump ball between them. So I really love watching Trevor throw it though too. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good play.
You've been playing good ball for years here now, but do plays like that continue the confidence even when the scoreboard's not saying what you want it to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think I work to make plays like that, and a lot of the guys here do the same, and I want to make those plays and win. Have those winning moments too. So always looking to make those kind of plays, but it has to, definitely always will be towards a winning effort. So that's the perspective I've had is the greats is what I'm chasing. I'm chasing greatness. Those guys made clutch moments and finished it, and we gotta get there.
I feel like it's a tale as old as time. If you don't start fast, we ask you, how do you start faster? But are you guys identifying anything at why things have been a little clunky out of the gates?
Just not, it's not even a hard answer or a complex answer. It's just we're not executing early. We like to get punched around a little bit before we get going, but yeah, we just got to execute better. We got to just stay on the field, Even if we just change the field, switch the field up, that's momentum. So I think we just got to just continue to look forward to execute and just start fast, start with some energy, get a completion, get the first down, get the ground game going, like just get in the rhythm. We're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep working at it.
With Christian being out, do you feel like you have to sort of maybe rise a little bit more, both on and off the field, more of like a leadership role? Do you feel like you have to put in a little extra with Christian out, fill the ball?
Everybody's got to step up. Everybody's got to step up. It was a really an unfillable hole last year, and it's going to be an unfillable hole this year. It's just that's how good he is, and we all gonna have to step up. We all got to do our job. We all got to pick everybody else up around. Like everybody's job, especially in the receiver room, tight end room, running back room, skill position room. We lose a player like that. Everybody has to heighten their game. Everybody has to heighten their focus, their detail, their leadership. So it's a team-wide thing. It's definitely an offensive-wide thing, losing a player like Christian.
So that is Evan Ingram. I feel like every time we go up an Evan Ingram soundbite or interview, I'm like, man, I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's, you know what I like about him is he has such a nice balance between, even after talking about the play, it's a play worth being talked about, even after a loss, that he still is like, yeah, but it doesn't matter if you win until you win, right? Like he's got that perspective, and it was a nice balance between, you can tell he's proud of that moment, and he should be proud of that moment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a sense of when the team is going this way, and fans or even us or whatever want everything to be miserable.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, in Jacksonville, not everything is miserable right now with this football team. You have a guy making that play. You've got Tank Bigsby coming up on Jaguars All Access tonight. He's played well. He's a good story. The offensive line's a good story. Trevor's playing good football for the most part. For the most part. You've got stories like Ventrell Miller and others. I mean, so those are real deal things. But I thought it was cool. Like he definitely was. He appreciated his own moment. Watching that back. They had to watch it back 100 times.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Hey, more power to you. I mean, it was that big of a moment. But no, I mean, this is like this. Listen, in terms of, we talk about those pillar guys, right? We talk about guys that we want to see here for a long time. Could you fetch a high round draft pick for Evan Ingram right now? Absolutely. And let's be honest, is the season kind of a wash? Are you going to the playoffs? Not sure what the odds are saying now, but probably not, right? It's okay. It makes sense to tear it all down, build back up again. But Evan Ingram is a guy that you want on this team. And listen, like I think the whole story can't go unsaid, where he's in New York, doesn't really work out for whatever reason, whether it's coaching, whether it's team, whatever the case may be, just didn't work out in New York, kind of finds a new lease of life in Jacksonville, and I think really changes his whole mindset around a little bit and becomes, one of the bona fide leaders of this team. So it can't be stated enough just how much he means to this team. And also, spoiler alert, when he came back, this offense looked a lot different as opposed to when he's been out, the past couple of weeks.
It's a good point. It's probably we haven't probably talked about that enough, right? Because since he's come back, they've actually been.
Yeah, and it's wild because we're like, okay, well, yeah, we're down Ingram. Okay, we still got, Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah. We had ETN, but then he gets hurt. We had Tank Bigsby. We had other players. It'll be all right. And yeah, I mean, we have other players, but it just goes to show you in his absence, just, the lacking of that offense, just how important Evan Ingram is to this football team.
Well, and he said something big in there, too. He was asked about Christian Kirk. He's like, it was an unfillable hole last year. It's an unfillable hole this year. I think because of the emergence of Brian Thomas Jr., I think a lot, and even Parker Washington's play, I think people are like, that's okay. Like, listen, we feel bad for Kirk. We love him, but it's okay. They're going to be okay. They have all these weapons. Well, I think we have to be cautious of that. It sounds like he does so much more than anybody else even knows, from the huddle to the snap to the actual play, that sets his team up for success, sets Trevor up for success, and they really value that. So we'll see if people can fill that role, or if they found an answer to, like last year, where when they couldn't find an answer when he went out and others started going out, that now the Parker Washington development takes over and he can contribute. Maybe not to the degree Kirk does, but he can contribute. And then Brian Thomas Jr., if he can play, he obviously is a new dynamic for this team. It's not Calvin Ridley, who's a little inconsistent. Now you can go to Brian Thomas Jr. and Evans' touches, by the way, went way up at the end of last year when Christian Kirk got hurt. So will we see that? Will we have to see it? We have no idea if Brian Thomas Jr. is going to play in this football game Sunday. So they could be without Kirk and Brian Thomas Jr., and then there's going to be a heavy workload on Evan Ingram. Bottom line for me is all the things that Evan Ingram just said, the Jags need more people playing like Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yep.
They need more play. It's usually pretty consistent. Mm-hmm. Sure. Is it perfect? Probably no. He did have the fumble in the one game, right? But most every Sunday, you can rely on that dude to get the job done.
Correct.
And he's made some big plays in a Jags uniform. That was the biggest. He said biggest maybe of his NFL career. But he's made some other fantastic catches, some big-time catches, big third down plays, big whatever plays. Mm-hmm. And they need more players playing like him. So I agree with you totally. Like, that's why you don't move a player like that. You don't have enough of them. Yeah. You don't go give those guys away.
Yep.
And he's a big part of what the Jags are trying to do here. Kind of the fabric, I would say, of the Jags headquarters, that locker room. He's a very, very important piece. Oh, one other candy note. Yeah, $100,000. I'm all over the $100,000. Love it. You don't like it?
What's the $100,000 again? I can't.
That's kind of like it. There, a lot of these are a lot alike, but it's kind of a chewy, crunchy. Like definitely caramel.
Is there rice in that one?
It's kind of like a rice or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what it is? Is it rice?
I don't know.
But it seems like a rice. Yeah, it's nothing crunchy,
it's
like a
airy.
wafer.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
But I do like $100,000 too now.
Okay.
Take $100,000 in a lot of different ways. Hey, let's take a time out right now. Maybe you can win $100,000 right here at BestBet St. Augustine or BestBet Jacksonville. I'll answer this question first. Do you think Elijah Cooks gets called up? A lot of fans want to see him get a chance, but they're in the mix, right? It's Trammell and him and missing somebody. I would suspect that Elijah Cooks, given his history, given his experience, will be the next guy called up for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trammell was an interesting one coming out of camp, though. Played pretty well in the preseason games, and they liked him. Mm-hmm. But I just think they have Parker to go play the Kirk spot. Yeah. So I would think from another receiver standpoint, you're likely going to go with Elijah Cooks, especially if Brian Thomas Jr. on the outside is questionable in the football game. We're live at BestBet St. Augustine on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. More from the locker room, by the way, coming up at 1 o'clock. We do a half-hour show from all the interviews that we captured in the locker room, and you can watch that show at 1 o'clock right here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, actionnewsjacks.com, Action News Jacks app, Action News Jacks now on your smart TV as well. And, well, look at Everbank Stadium. Looking good for Saturday's game, 3:30 kick in Jacksonville between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Florida Gators. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder-grade materials. And there's more, and for that, we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game, too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside game day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue.
How is that even possible?
The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts. Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From 1954 to 2024, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. That commitment includes a partnership with the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team as the presenting sponsor of all Armada men's and women's broadcasts this summer. Action Sports Jacks and Alive Credit Union, a partnership that just makes sense when it comes to covering Northeast Florida. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of our first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or
What I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
For the game day hustle and every day in between. Juggling my show, Jag Social, to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game. But with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service. A meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
All right, so look at the NFL cartoon, if you will, for this happy Halloween. Hope everybody's getting ready for a big day with the kids, or treating the kids well with Trick or Treat coming up tonight. Stay safe, of course, in the area, and watch out for those little kids when you're driving through those neighborhoods. Brent Martineau along with Austen Lane. You like that?
Yeah, Trevor front and center. I like that.
Yeah, Trevor front and center. We're trying to figure out who the karate kid was.
TJ Watt.
Oh, that's a young who. Oh,
it's Watt.
Oh,
are you sure?
Yeah, I could see there's the Steelers logo and the 90.
I can't really see much at all.
Yeah, it's hard to see here, but
okay.
What else we got? Anything of note?
I mean, Trevor has brown hair.
Looks like a.
Yeah, they didn't really do it.
Yeah.
Like,
what's the top
they
right?
Don't really look
top right there. You got Baker Mayfield. It looks like in the Bucks.
Yeah.
Like, what's he wearing? Mickey Mouse ears?
Disney ears? Because Mickey Mouse, like, didn't Tom Brady say the whole Mickey Mouse thing? It's like Disneyland or something. I think that might be.
Okay.
We see Kirk O'Bangs or whatever, Kirk O'Chains, Kirk Cousins. That's obvious. I guess that's Patrick Surtain with the lockdown in the front. I get it. Caleb Williams just a sad looking bear. I don't get the TJ Watt karate thing.
Is that his celebration?
I guess.
Maybe he does that. Is that? I think it is. I think it's sack celebration.
Who's the guy sitting down? That's Beetlejuice. These are rough, man. I mean, it's cool. I like the idea, but it's like,
I think that's Gardner Minshew.
There's some deep secrets here. Oh, with the Raiders
or Max Crosby?
Yeah, it might be Crosby.
Okay.
It'll probably be Crosby.
Did you guys see Myles Garrett pull up as Terminator?
I didn't. No. Was it good?
Hamby, have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
If you can get a little video of that later on, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot. craziest thing I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. Insane.
Like well done.
Well, because Myles Garrett always goes above and beyond for Halloween. So this year he goes as the Terminator. And if I was security, I would need to see 5 forms of ID.
Really?
Because it looked insane. Yep.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get that here in just a little bit. What's amazing to me is that Doug Peterson has never seen the statue that they built of him and Nick Foles outside of the stadium.
That is wild.
And so I was thinking, I'm like, well, maybe they didn't put it up for a couple of years. They put it up the next year, right before the season opener.
Yeah, get your picture
they
taken
unveiled
next to it, dog. Come on.
Isn't that odd? I get that he ended up getting fired, but again, that's not the before and after. You could have walked around the stadium at any point.
Yeah.
He said it's on the other side of the stadium from where he comes in or where they would come in.
Yep.
I just don't know if I believe him. How would you not have seen it?
I know. I mean, we have Evan Ingram watching his own highlight 100 times in a row, and Doug Peterson can't even go see his own statue. What are we doing, man?
I mean, I just think it's wild. He gets asked about it every time we go back to Philly, but he says his brothers, including his late brother, had been up there and seen it, but he doesn't seem like he has any interest in seeing it.
I can't remember. So is it him and Nick Foles standing next to each other, or is there its own separate statue of Doug Peterson and one of Nick Foles?
That's a good question. I haven't seen it in a little bit. It has a transcript of what the conversation was like. Hey, what do we say?
Philly
Nick Foles do Philly special, and Doug's like, yeah, let's do it, or something like that. But I think it's both of them.
Okay.
I don't think it's 2 separate statues the way.
Yeah, it's.
So they're on the same pedestal there.
Interesting. You want Philly is what it's called.
Yeah.
That was the quote.
And so they've got it's kind of cool, I guess. They've got the whole transcript of the conversation as part of it, probably on the base.
Yep.
I didn't go check it out. Of course, the weather was terrible the last time. So maybe this time around we'll go check it out in Philadelphia.
You think Tony Baselli gets a statue? Or who's going to be the first statue?
Huh. That's a good question.
Here's Myles Garrett, by the way. How insane is that?
That's pretty good.
Imagine that's walking towards your security. I mean, hey.
That's, it's funny. He's got the width, too, to pull off.
He looks exactly
stuff,
like
right?
I mean, that's Schwarzenegger to a T.
Yeah. Because it's hard to get. You can dress up like that, but not he's built like that.
Because I think it's a mask that he's wearing. But, they had to take some time to take off in the locker room, right? You're getting ready to go play a game. Now you got to...
That's wild. That's good.
It's trippy. Once again, 5 forms of ID, please, Miles.
It was pretty interesting how much... It strikes me how much these guys like Halloween, that they actually were thinking about it last weekend.
Yeah.
Because they knew this weekend it would be over.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's not like Halloween was Sunday night,
Yeah, well, the Browns aren't thinking about it a lot right now, Brent. Come on.
But that just shows you how much people like it.
Yeah.
I can't get over, by the way, the fact that Peterson hasn't seen the statue. It makes no sense to me. Jets, Texans tonight. I just saw this tweet. Let's see if I pull it up.
I'll be watching. Well, after Halloween.
How about this? Since firing Robert Saleh, the Jets haven't won a game, according to James Palmer. They average 0.4 more points per game. They're giving up 11.3 more points per game.
Yeah.
They are averaging 64.1 more yards per game, giving up 82 more yards per game. They had 6 total takeaways to 0. So they've gone no takeaways the last few weeks. Again, this is just another example. This is why owners are reluctant to fire their coaches early in the season.
Correct. And I hope somebody does this, or else I'll do it myself. I hope they take sound bites from every single press conference after the game, because it's gradually, but it's the first game, okay, that's not who we are. We have to do better, and then the next game is I don't know what that was. That wasn't us. We have to do better. It's the Jets way. And it just gradually gets worse and worse and worse to the point where it's maybe this wasn't for me, maybe this job. So, yeah, I mean, we say, important games. I mean, they got to win this game to even have a chance, right, Brent?
Yeah, I mean, again, the AFC is, if somebody wanted to go on a run, the AFC is there for the taking. It's all jumbled up. Even the Bengals, we thought they might get hot. They lose to Philadelphia, but they're still in it, if they get hot. The question is, who's going to get hot? I feel like there's a team, and you could put the Jags in this mix. I don't think the Jags are the ones that are going to get hot right now, but I think the Bengals could be in that mix. I think the Jets could have the opportunity, although it feels like all the noise, very unlikely. The Jags could fit here. I think those are 3 teams that could get hot. The Patriots, they won last week. They're not getting hot, right? I mean, they're just not good enough. The Titans aren't getting hot. It'll be interesting to see if a team like the Colts gets hot now that they've moved on from Anthony Richardson and they're going with Flacco, do they start playing good football? And they'll get a true test on Sunday night. They're the one that got flexed with the Jags flexed off. It'll be the Colts and the Vikings on Sunday night. So, again, it's just another example of why, like, the Jets, they probably should have kept Salah. Now, I don't know if they would be winning if they kept Salah. I'm not sure, but it feels like their defense wouldn't be giving up a touchdown in the game-winning drive to Jacoby Brissett last week.
Without a doubt. I mean, do you think, like, is this Aaron Rodgers last year? Like, is this how you want to go out? Because, man, I mean, like, you think of Brady, you know, like, he wins the Super Bowl. And, like, I can't remember how his last year panned out. It wasn't obviously what he wanted, but, like, I just feel like it's been such a dumpster fire, such an underachieving team this year in New York, where if Aaron Rodgers steps away, like, I get you still have your Super Bowl, you still have your MVPs, but, like, I think that'll be part of his legacy of what happened in New York, and it was not good.
That's an interesting call. Like, I think a lot of guys that finish their careers in 1 or 2 years with other teams, you forget about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, MJ.
Yeah, MJ's the greatest example.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good. So the point being, yeah, we bring it up on, like, okay, this example, but we really don't talk about MJ's career with that.
Yeah, because it wasn't polarizing.
Such a footnote.
This is polarizing.
Yeah, this has been beefed up. 1, because it's New York. 2, because of his status just in general over the last few years is way bigger than it was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago when he was winning a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers, which is even longer than that now. But yeah, it's a good point, but I would suggest that it's too small of a sample to relate him to the Jets. I still feel like 95% of the population is going to say he's a Green Bay Packer, and I remember the Packers days, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I also think people are going to remember how it ended because he is such a polarizing figure.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whether it's the political stuff that, you know, he says, or, like, keep in mind, I mean, he maybe didn't have a direct influence on it, but your coach gets fired. You bring in your friend Devontae Adams, so, like, you do all these things to try to help you win, and you still can't win. So I truly believe, like, yes, he'll always be remembered as a Green Bay Packer more than a Jet, but I think whether it's his last year this year, or we'll see what happens, like, I think it'll leave a little stain on his legacy. I really do.
Yeah, it might. It'll be interesting to see what kind of does. But don't worry, he's getting younger.
Yes, supposedly.
His next concoction.
Yeah.
Cayenne pepper and water?
I think he took this from an advice of a teammate, not sure which one, but
he said that. I forget who he said.
So before the punter. Oh, well, that's nutrition advice that I'll be taking from is the punter of your team is the guy that, the guy that's probably, you know, has the lowest bench press, the slowest 40-yard dash of anybody. Yeah, fantastic. Take the advice from the punter. But nevertheless, Aaron Rodgers this year is doing a cayenne pepper and water mixture before games. And he said that he's never, like, it's the best he's felt in years because of this combination.
I figured you'd have a little bit of knowledge about this. This feels like something that maybe you would
well, I do. I mean, because you know I'm all about the human optimization. So I do know, like, my old agent when I played football, he used to do like cleanses, and he used to do like a cayenne pepper cleanse where he'd only drink like cayenne pepper and water for like a full week. More power to you there, man. But I've never heard of it like for a pre-game, drink, like a sports performance thing. But I think like in terms of inflammation and everything, that's supposed to help.
All right, so what are the benefits of drinking cayenne pepper water? This
Livestrong.com.
Livestrong.com.
There you go, Brent, because they didn't cheat at anything ever with Lance Armstrong. Well, let's go.
Is this, that's his stuff, right?
It is.
Yeah, good call. A little spicy water may offer a big boost to your health. The benefits of cayenne pepper are many. What usually refers to a tea made with water, cayenne pepper, and lemon juice served warm or iced. Consider sipping on this mixture on a regular basis, especially if you want better metabolic health, steady weight, and improved protection against disease. Goes into more of that. But
yeah, I mean, do we see like what the benefits are though, or not? Just
appetite suppression and detox.
Okay,
support.
So you're not hungry during the game, not eating hot dogs.
Reducing hunger so you can eat less and feel full longer. Study back in 2014 found that adding, what is that? Capsaicin?
Capsaicin, yeah.
So your diet increases feelings of satisfaction and fullness, which can prevent overeating. Study uses... How
you feeling? I feel satisfied after that, man.
Well, maybe because I'm not drinking coffee right now and I feel awful.
Try it, man.
Maybe I should try cayenne pepper
Brent.
And water.
Get on that Aaron Rodgers thing. You'll be doing ayahuasca in no time.
Cayenne pepper. I'm going to try it.
You try it?
Yeah, and I'm going to heat it up because that way it'll be something warm.
Can we do it on the show tomorrow?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Bring it in. Do you have cayenne pepper at home?
I have to buy it.
Okay.
First. I don't think I have it.
Okay.
But
nice.
So is that cayenne pepper is hot, right? I mean, it's kind of a spice.
It's
but
spicy.
Is it like crazy spicy or?
I don't. I mean, so I'll say this:
mix it. It's probably diluted.
Yeah. Like one of my supplements that I take from the UFC, it's like a turmeric thing, which is I think kind of the same like spice kind of level. And I also put turmeric in my my smoothie every morning, so because that helps with inflammation and everything. So there might be something to this, Brent.
All right, we're gonna try it.
Do you have any quick like health remedies that your family back in the day would do, or?
That's a good call.
Because, I mean, to set the table, on my dad's side of the family, his mom, my grandma, when they were kids, used to, when they were sick, Vicks Vapor Rub?
Yep.
She used to feed them tablespoons of Vicks Vapor Rub.
Like, eat it?
Yep. Wouldn't recommend it. But, hey, it's old school,
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. It makes me kind of, my mouth water in all the bad ways just thinking about it.
I'm trying to think of, like, the home remedy kind of stuff that, like, you do. I don't feel like there was anything that was unusual. It was probably more standard. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, I don't know, if you got like poison ivy or something like that. Or, I mean, everything seemed to have like a cold rag towel. That's the answer to everything. Right?
Just a nice cold rag, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
I remember
that cloth rag, okay, if you're sick, put that on your forehead.
I remember
if you got this, put that on your forehead.
I remember I was learning to ride my bike by my grandma's, and I totally fell off and smoked my head on the handlebars. And I remember there was a cold compress, a cold towel waiting for me when I got inside. I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. That feels better.
I don't even.
I love it.
Are you well past the age, Hamby, of like home remedies? Like, do
well
people
past
still
the
use
age.
it?
Well, I just think because he's such an old soul, he probably doesn't even.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Probably just Google everything now, right?
My home
Have
remedies.
you got anything for us? Any remedies?
When you were sick, the best two things for you were Sprite and sleep, and that was it. We didn't even take a whole lot of.
That's
medicine.
funny you say Sprite. My mom's the same way. My mom doesn't go to the doctor. Anytime she feels bad, she just has ginger ale.
7-Up was mine.
Yeah, ginger ale, 7-Up, Sprite. Like, why is that?
And some crackers. That was
saltine crackers.
Saltine crackers
For mom.
Oh, dude. I mean, when I was
Ritz crackers. There you go.
See, Ritz. I had to go to saltines. But even when I was out fake sick from school, sometimes, yeah, man, I was getting ready for a whole diet, a full day of just saltine crackers and some Sprite or 7-Up.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, that's interesting. You guys figured that was like a mom thing. My mom thing.
Yeah,
she ginger ale. Like she has bottles of ginger ale.
Yeah,
2 liters of ginger ale. And my mom's about as old school still as they get. I mean, she doesn't text. She does have a phone.
Yeah,
but she doesn't. She still has a landline phone.
Oh, I love it. True to the game, right there, Brent.
It's so funny. And she has a landline phone.
Does anybody call her? Like,
I mean, we do on occasion.
I'm sure the
because I
political
think she'll answer that one first before. Yeah, they probably do. Well, here's what they get. They get like that little murmur from the landline phone. I'm like, Mom, you got to get that phone fixed? Like, I'd probably say you can't even buy one anymore.
Right? They're so rare. That's crazy.
It's like a little hum in the system. Mom, I'll call you on your other phone.
The cell phone. Oh, that's awesome.
In her world, it's probably really changed, right? Like, I mean, the cell phone was the one that you probably had the crappy service. The landline was good. Now it's the landline with terrible service.
I haven't been to a home with a landline in a minute. That's amazing. That's cool.
We talk about we were going through some old pictures the other day, actually, and it's just funny the phone on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
That used to have like the long cord.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you could go like around the corner.
Oh yeah, where I grew up on, it was like the one that you had to you spun it like the.
Oh yeah, the
rotary phone.
My grandparents.
Yeah. My grandma had that one.
My kids, you wouldn't. He probably didn't know what.
He has no idea what we're talking about
right now. Because he's old soul, as you said. But my kids would have no idea. Like, what is that?
Yeah. Back when you had to answer the phone and tell who they're calling, like, hey, hello, this is the Murdy residence. Austin speaking.
Somebody said this the other day. Actually, we're in. I heard him talking. Oh, it was in London, and I forget who it was, but they were talking about getting a wake up call.
Oh yeah.
And so they were like, they got to be 24, 25 years old. they were working for the Jags, and they're like, "What's a wake-up call?" Like,
they have no
idea.
idea
What a wake-up call was.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's wild."
Do they still do those anymore?
I think they do still do them.
Can you imagine getting the call for wake up? Like, how annoying though.
Yeah,
like if you're working the front desk, it's just like,
yeah, come on,
hey,
really?
just set
You got
your
to
cell
set
phone.
500 alarms.
What are we doing, man?
The alarms, by the way, still exist. It looks like in the hotel rooms.
Okay.
At a lot of them. You just don't use them.
I haven't used one of those in a minute.
But they're there for you in case.
Pretty convenient.
My mom comes in.
Yeah. But by the way, guys, I'm not sure if you're on Twitter right now, but it's a landslide victory for me. Like, I'm not even getting into the count, but
you got 3.
People seem to
bro.
be agreeing with me on the Halloween candy. I got more than 3. We got, look, A-Train92 won that easily. Austin W. Wasn't even a competition. Austin all day. Let's put it this way. Austin equals Brad Holmes. Not sure who that is.
That's the Lions general manager.
Is that the GM for the Lions?
Brent Volke with Swedish Fish in round 1. Massive reach, which will set the best house for trick-or-treating back years.
How about this guy? Gary Criswell is like the first picks by Hamby and Brent were not a good start. Replace one with Almond Joy?
Somebody said Somebody said, did Hamby have a stroke during this?
By the way, hey, Dave Stone might have just won the $1,000 gift certificate.
There we go.
Forget about the picture. That's a good comment.
Swedish Fish could have been an undrafted free agent. Austin wins this easily. He got the best 2 fruit chewy candies and the best 2 candy bars. The first pick by Hamby and Brent were not a good start. Replace one with Almond Joy.
We have, by the way, we have a few entries into our $1,000 Beards Jewelry gift certificate, but you still got time to get them in. We'll give you a little bit more time on it and send them our way, sports@actionnewsjacks.com, or just send them on Twitter or YouTube or wherever we'll find them. Let us know if you have those in for sure. Mazda Rodney is behind me. There we go. Hey, what's up? They're watching. They're listening. That's good, right up there at the Aces Sports Bar and Grill. Hey, one finish before we forget about it and don't do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Luka, big day last night.
Yeah, I mean, dagger. Listen, Luka, and this was kind of the question that I posed real quick, and I get it's NBA, we just finished the World Series, so give me some time. Maybe I'll bring in some NBA Slam poetry tomorrow. We'll see if we get it back back on the rails here. But Luka had a big night last night against Minnesota. Obviously, there's some bad blood there in Minnesota. Hits the dagger and then proceeds to go on a lace, a bad language, expletive rant of basically you bleep, 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 bleep. This is what I bleeping do. And so it's more of the same from Luka, but it begged the question real quick. Do you think when it's all said and done, is Luka going to be known for being just an outstanding player and loved, or is he going to be hated for all the antics on the court?
Yeah, I don't get the sense hated, but I get what you're asking.
Despised.
I think, I get it. I think he's becoming a polarized player, which the NBA needs, so it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah.
But I can see what rubs people the wrong way, because it's almost like Kobe, but if you look at Luka, it's like this dude's he looks a little out of shape and everything, and he's still doing the dang thing.
All right. Maybe NBA Slam poetry tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, everybody. Jaguars All Access tonight with Tank Bixby.